Am I close?
Um,
I'm a little. It's a little past the time, but it's not crazy. I don't think.
right. I could give you. Yeah, this was good. This was a good grace period.
Okay, all right.
Do you know what I was reminded of? Today is Happy Montgomery Brawl Day, August 5th, also known as Fade in the Water Day, when
Hmm.
Aquaman, rushed over there and put the paws on some people coming at us. So I really don't like when they say we don't have smoke for YT. We have it in the government and we have it in regular community when they do things such as the Montgomery Brawl Day reminds us of. So we ain't those people that's weak that like they try to make us out to be. But that's neither here nor there. You have a topic up, but you're on pause now.
Okay, I'm back. I'm here.
Okay, and it says Black American unity requires a common agenda. One-sided alliance will not work. FBA delineation, African boycott, all hashtags. Yes, yes, and I realized that the Afro-descendant immigrants, right? Yeah, I think that's what we should call them because we're the black people in this land because we go by ethnicity. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, they think it was one day. The younger generation was on this app. Well, what happened? I thought you were boycotting the African shops. They were full. They don't understand that Montgomery bus boycott. It lasted over a year, or maybe a little shorter than a year. But they realized they needed us back on those buses, and so we ride the front and not the back unless we want to. This is a lifestyle; it's not a moment. And our civil rights strategies and stuff has really set the blueprint for the world. We push the globe. And that's why when everybody's in trouble, no matter how anti Black American they are, they're always looking for Black Americans to come out. See, Black American will whisper, boycott, protest, rally, and the National Guard is on deck before we could finish the thought. It took them maybe a few days to get out there for the Latinos. So that was just the remix 2025, but ain't nothing that y'all are doing we didn't do already before. So I think that when we are coming together, Black Americans have always been unified. Let me tell you something. Touch one of us and we're tearing the streets up. Research Holy Week when they unalived MLK,
Hmm.
right? How we tore up the streets.
Hmm.
When it's time to vote, we primarily vote as one big block. That's why everybody panders to us. If that's not unity, I don't know what is. And even when you come for somebody, as you're seeing now in New York FBA, you're coming for all of us. If you go after New Orleans Creoles and FBA, you're going for all of us. We're not regionally different.
Can I ask a
We just have
question?
differences.
You hold on. Okay, hold on. Before we
We just
before we
have
go in, before we
differences.
go in with the
I'm a
monologue,
land. I'm a land Afro, so that she can go.
because I know it's a lot of people already want to speak. We already got
Okay.
100 people in the room,
I'm sorry,
so
because I can monologue. So this is the thing. If anybody is asking for allyship with foundational Black Americans, even those who identify differently but are of the lineage, they have to come with something to the table. One-sided alliances leads to an agenda, and usually we get the short end of the stick, and we're tired of that.
yeah.
I'll land there.
Thank you. The thing is that a lot of people, because of the conversation of the African braiding shop boycott, a lot of people, and I've had conversations with a lot of people. Okay, a lot of people have asked, okay, so what are you expecting us to do? What do you want us to do? I mean, should we ally? Like, what do you expect? The thing is that a true allyship is something that we've always wanted and expected and tried to reach for. Okay, but the thing is, an olive branch works two ways. Okay, it's a two-way street. The thing that we've realized is that economically, politically, and even socially, these people come in, the Africans, Caribbeans, the diaspora, they come in and they stick to themselves, whether that's politically, whether that's socially, whether that's economically. They stick to themselves and they do what is in their best interest. Not only them, I'm talking about immigrants in general, whether that's Asian immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, all of these people who conveniently ask for allyship when they need something. We've seen recently throughout the year with the ICE raids going on, and you've seen a lot of Hispanics ask for black solidarity and allyship and this black and brown coalition. Yet a couple years ago, they were talking about how much better they were. They were blocking reparations every way they could. So when it comes to policy, politically, they are an obstacle. Okay, politically they are against us. Socially they're very against us, and they talk against us. Okay, generalizing, no, this is pattern recognition. It's more than enough to be a problem. It's not just one or two people. And then economically, okay, it's not like they're out there supporting our businesses or being partners economically with black people. Economically, black people are the only people who support black businesses. That's it. Black Americans support black American businesses. That's it. Politically, everybody else is doing what is in their best political interest. Okay, whether that's doing something for immigrants, Hispanics, whatever the case is. Okay, and even socially, they reinforce stereotypes and speak against black people and our interests, call us lazy, all of these things. All right. So politically, economically, and socially, everybody has been against foundational black Americans. All right. So this is why we're at this point. Let me switch it. This is why we're at this point where we're saying that, okay, the allyship thing isn't going to work out, because what we have realized is that you all require allyship, or you guys ask for allyship at your convenience. And an allyship is not going to be at your convenience. It's not going to be one-sided, where when y'all need help, here we come in to save the day. And then all the other times you guys are doing great by yourselves. All right. Okay. So we're just not going to have that. So this is what leads to the point where people are talking about delineation. And people are even talking about the African boycott or whatever. Because the thing is that we're not going to have this thing where we're going to pretend like we're allies, because and I will acknowledge the fact that we are all facing the same enemy, whether they believe, hold on, whether they believe it or not, whether they want to admit it or not, they do have the same enemy. But the thing is that what good is that for us to recognize if they don't also recognize that? That's the common agenda part. If they don't recognize that the system of YT supremacy is their ultimate enemy, then what good is that for us to fight on that behalf for them, on their behalf? Okay, they have to recognize that and then get on the same page. So I'm not gonna, because there's a lot of people who are trying to come up right now. I'm not gonna be too long-winded. Let me switch the thing, because a lot of people might not be able to see it. Hold on. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to see it for right now. So we're going to start off. BX, if you can set the room, and then ZZ can go ahead and weigh in, and then we'll get to the hands.
Sure. When you're allowed on a panel, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. Once directed to speak, please leave with your race and ethnic group. And if you're over 18, we do not ask for your pronouns. You don't have to give that. What I mean by race and ethnic group is my race is black, my ethnic group is African American / Black American, used interchangeably, but I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What a foundational Black American is a descendant of the U.S. chattel slavery period between 1863 and 1865, emancipation period, sorry. And our ancestors can be found on the 1870 census. If you cannot find your ancestors on the 1870 census, then you are your parents' country of origin, or you of your country's origin, which would be Jamaican American, Haitian American, Trinidadian American, Nigerian American, Ghanaian American, Ethiopian American, so on and so forth. Please be honest as we have these discussions, because that'll help gauge how we answer you. Afro Elite allows everybody to speak, so there's no need to hide who you are, because we do, he does want to have the conversation honestly and respectfully. Also, please keep it TikTok friendly language only. So you got to say things like grape, strange fruiting, hard candy, greenery, puffery, Mary Jane even. We'll get it that way. And what you're unsure of, please spell out. See that heart up by Afro Elite's name? Please click that heart and complete the daily missions. That helps him in the algorithm and helps helps him in rankings. Consistently like the live as you listen to the discussion, and also keep it peaceful in the chat as well. Please, trolls, no trolling hard today. This isn't that atmosphere, and everybody's voice will be heard. I'll land there. And if you could share the live too, get some more voices in here so we don't have an echo chamber and we can hear everybody out. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right,
You're
we got a
welcome.
lot of people in here, so let's get started. So, Zizi, how you doing? How you doing,
I'm
girl?
good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Peace, BX. How are you, darling?
Peace, Zizi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm grand. I'm doing grand this evening. But yeah, to answer the prompt, yeah, absolutely. I think us having a common agenda, us understanding who our common enemy is, has been something that's always been in our culture, in Black American culture. I don't know how the hell you do this with that on top of you. It's very distracting. Which goes on you.
Yeah, let
Um,
me switch it because it
yeah,
is
I'm
kind
like,
of
yeah, it's
because we
like
got
right
a
on
lot
me.
of people sending gifts already. So hold on.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's better. Um, yeah, I think that's been something that's always been a part of our culture is understanding who our common enemy is. That's why we've been so adamant on putting our blackness first, our race first. So I don't think that's something that necessarily on our side we've had the issue with. But I do think for a lot of non-FBAs, they get a little short-sighted, especially with the tribal wars and things like that they have going on within their own countries and their surrounding countries. Some of the issues they deal with aren't the same as us, and it's a little bit more distracting to what the end goal is, which is ultimate empowerment for Black people across the globe,
Hmm.
So yeah, I think some of them can get a little short-sighted. It does seem like it's not really a two-way street, and it has to be in order for us to play as a team. So yeah, that's something they have to work on for sure. I'm curious to see what some of the pushback might be from the prompt, at least from non-FBAs. We'll see.
Hmm. And this is why I made this because I've seen a lot of comments. I've seen a lot of Pan Africanists making videos talking about we're xenophobic, we're separatists, and we don't want to unite with other Black people. But the thing is that you can't blindly unite with anybody, even
Mm.
when companies do partnerships or collaborations with other companies. That's because they have the same vision in mind. You can't have this blind partnership with somebody if, number one, they're not going to help you in the same way, not at their convenience, in the same way. It's got to be equally yoked, and you all have to have a common agenda. So that's why we're having this conversation. All right. Let's get to the first person who was there is I'm not sure how to Keith Kia the Nomad.
um, race, black, ethnicity, Congolese, non-FBA.
Okay.
What else? Yeah. I disagree. Well, I'm not. Well, yeah. I agree. But I don't see how African boycott is like unity.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right. It's not.
Right.
Mhm.
I also don't understand how punching down will lift you up.
Well, no, it's not punching down. Every time somebody words it as punching down, they're making it seem like we're just lashing out on somebody for no reason. And when you say it like that and frame it that way, you're dismissing all of the all of the things that the Africans have been doing. You're dismissing that. The boycott is because of the fact that the Africans come in and they come in and economically, politically, and socially, they are becoming a liability for Black Americans. Too many of them, and it's been
Wait.
going on. Hold on, let me land. It's been going on unchecked. All right. So
How
they
are
will
they
get
becoming
into,
a
hold on, let
liability?
me answer your question and then I'm gonna let you go in there. So we have politicians that we can name who will go in there and they'll try to um remove Black History Month. African politicians who will go in there, remove Black History Month. They will go in there and they'll block reparations. We've discussed this on many different live streams. Okay, so that's as far as the political fear goes. Okay, we have names, so people can't make it seem like we don't know what we're talking about. We do have names. All right. We also have the fact that these people will go in, they'll become a part of like the New America agenda and programs, and they'll disperse resources specifically for immigrant communities. There's different scholarships and resources and programs for immigrants specifically that they advocate for. But when it comes to reparations, we see oftentimes, and I got receipts, y'all can lie all y'all want to, but this is showing why allyship is not working, because you're lying, because you guys do that often. All right. We have receipts of that. Also, when it comes to the economic part of it, we have receipts of a lot of people talking about how they don't want their children to be around with the Akata. They don't want to do business with Akatas and Black Americans and all of
Yeah,
this
but
stuff.
don't you think that
Hold
comes
on, hold
from?
on. I'm almost done, and then I'm gonna let you respond. And then even socially, we're starting to see, even socially, there's a lot of disrespect. I'm seeing disrespect coming on horror stories. I'm seeing horror stories, all right, about African braiding shops and fights breaking out at African braiding shops. I'm seeing videos of tons, especially on TikTok, of Africans, in particular Nigerians, who are bragging about how much smarter they are, how much more educated they are, how much they have a better culture than us. So when it comes to economics, politics, and social, all right, we've been getting disrespected. Okay, and we have too many of them. Nobody is saying all, but we have too many of them who are showing that they have some type of deep rooted rivalry and animosity towards us, and that's been going on unchecked. And then the other ones who don't have animosity, they are showing that their agenda is not what our agenda is. Their agenda is not to dismantle the system of uh, racism. Their agenda is to do what's in their own best ethnic group. We had a live stream a week or so ago where they came here and said, hey, I'm only here to make money. I'm not here to rock the boat. I'm not here to fight nobody. I'm not here to fight the power and join a protest. I'm here to make money. So we see a lot of that stuff. We can't partner with people whose agenda is for their own best interest and not for the best interest of the group.
I can't respond to everything because I'm
I
sorry,
know.
my brain is
I
not
just,
so fast.
it's not
But
just for
like
you,
I
it's for the
have
audience
tried,
as well, too.
look, I have documented this whole thing because I'm very, very interested in your viewpoint and my FBA viewpoint and whatever. And I have seen a lot of discrimination come from Black American as well, right? So, but I still don't think it's justified for Africans. First of all, it's not possible because it's just such a big continent of so many ethnicities to come together and then just boycott Black Americans. I think it's wrong either way, right? To do that. It's discriminating.
Okay, you said you seen
You can like
oh,
you can do the whole delineation thing, right? But to try to boycott businesses is, how is it going to help you?
boycotting, trust me, boycotting is, because the thing is that we have, what we have is socially is going to
Yeah, but like
fix.
it's the
Hold
wrong
on, listen.
target.
Listen, it's going to fix two different problems. I said the problems are rooted in three different categories. That's the social category, economic category, and political category. It's going to fix the economic category because then that money is going to be used for Black Americans, and that money is going to stay in house. So that's an economic benefit. Socially, all of the disrespect and we got more money and we do better and we come over here with $5 and why are you guys so poor if we got it and you don't, that socially that stuff is going to stop as well too.
But are
So
you
a part of
boycotting
me,
also white businesses, Asian
ma'am, first
businesses?
off, yes, yes, all
So
right.
you're boycotting everybody?
Yes, okay. And the point is that we have a situation going on with Black Americans in the diaspora. You can ask Target how well the boycott's working. People been boycotting Target literally all year long. So everybody talking about y'all not boy. Yes, yeah. Ask Target about that. You can actually look at the stocks and the data of Target, and you can see all 2025 Target has been going down. All right. Their income has been going down all year long. So nobody's having this particular energy exclusively for you all. But the thing is that every time we address, no, that's not because of the tariffs, because it's not happening to Walmart either. All right. So people make it seem like it's because of the tariffs. If it was because of the tariffs, it would be happening to the same degree at Walmart and all these other stores, but it's not. All right. So stop lying, Reggie. You always lying. Stop doing that. But the thing is that every time we address you all, you guys try to deflect and talk about, well, what about Asians? Well, what about them? Well, what about them? What about them? Well,
Yeah,
no, it's about
because
us and you guys. We're having a us and you guys conversation right now because you guys are the ones who are trying to say we need allyship. So that's why we're having this conversation.
yeah, but you know what? You're right.
Okay, thank you. I didn't kick her off. She left. You see?
This out to everybody.
Okay.
When we boycott the Africans, are also impacting the Asian hair vendors. See how that works? Because the Asians, especially in Harlem, supply some of the African hair braiding shops. So we got smoke for everybody, and look at that, 2 for 1 shot. Be respectful, and you won't get boycotted. That's the whole point.
Okay. All right. Yep. Zizi, do you have anything you want to add? And then we'll move on to the next speaker.
No, that's okay. I didn't think she was gonna give up that fast, though. She was like, "No, you're right." And I guess she gave up on trying to argue. But go ahead.
All right. Let's get to Katrina.
Hey, hey, Afro Elite, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. um, to answer the prompt, Black American on one side, okay. Um, yeah, I have a question. Okay, I understand that you guys want to boycott African businesses. So, the African braiding shops, those ladies, if they don't have work, their children are nurses, engineers, doctors, their husband works. So my question is, okay, if the shop closes, do you think that the grocery stores, because you guys don't shop at the African and Caribbean grocery stores, so the grocery stores will still be up. So how do you think, do you think it will affect, the domino effect will fall all the way, or just one domino, which is the braiding salon? That's my question. Thank you.
Well, yeah. It will have a ripple effect because the braiding shops um bring in a lot of money to their socio-economic community. They have their own like enclaves, Haiti Town, Africa Town, all of these enclaves where they pretty much do business among each other. So
Yeah.
if you have the braiding shops, if the braiding shops take a big loss, let's not say they close down all the way, but if they take a significant hit, that's
Hmm.
going to affect every other thing because
Right, like the
they're not going to be
Chinese.
able to shop at the African grocery store the same way or the restaurant the same way or do business the same way. So that will have a ripple effect on everything.
But Afro, this is what I was saying. The African grocery stores, the shoppers are mainly other Africans. So
Hmm.
the grocery stores, I don't think will be affected. And if the African braiding shops do close down, their children are nurses and engineers, doctors. So do you think that the African medical field will be boycotted as well?
No. I mean, it's kind of weird to say the African medical field because they're just in the American medical field. There's no like
I meant the Africans in the
segregated
medical
African
field.
medical
Yeah.
field. You know, it's not like Nigerians have their own hospital.
No,
You know
no,
what
I
I'm
meant,
saying?
yeah, I meant the
So,
Africans in the medical field.
will they be boycotted? You
Yeah,
ask?
because let's say, for example, let's say the ladies, the African aunties who have the hair salon,
Uh huh.
they get put out of work. They will still survive because they're married, some of them, and they have kids that work high professions. So, do you think it will really be a big dominoes effect or just small?
Yeah, it'll be a big domino effect because we're already seeing the results. The thing is that we want them all to survive. We're not trying to cause anybody to lose their life or go homeless or nothing like that. We're not out
Right.
here doing. We're hold on. We're not out here doing that. But the thing is that socially we have them and they're working against us. Socially, they speak against us. They talk about how much better they're doing and all of this stuff, and this will have a ripple effect. Now, when you talk about their children are doctors and lawyers and all of this stuff, all of their children are not doctors and
Right.
lawyers.
Most of their children are not
I would,
doctors and
I
lawyers.
would
Somebody girl,
say,
stop playing.
Hold on,
can I
because
speak, please?
hold on,
What the hell?
because that plays into the narrative that they're all just coming over here and then just taking off running, and that's just not the case. We have a lot of Black American nurses and lawyers and people who have high profession jobs. Let's be honest. If you have a business and your business was receiving income and then your business gets closed down, that's going to affect you. Yeah, you might be able to eat the next day, and that's great that you can eat the next day, but we're not gonna sit up here and ignore the fact that you used to have a business that was bringing in income to your household that you no longer have. So that will
Can I
have
comment?
a ripple effect.
Can I
Okay, and
comment
then
on this?
I'm
Hold
just
on.
gonna wrap this up. Um, so I'm African as well, so that's why I'm just asking these questions just to learn.
Okay.
When we arrived to America, we made it without y'all. So y'all can delineate all you want. We will
We're
still
from
ride.
Africa.
We will,
She was a
Where are you
troll,
from
gosh.
in Africa? Where are you from in Africa?
I'm from Kenya. We will still rise to the top.
Now let me ask you a question. Are you?
FBA
I
in the
didn't want
last
to say
panel.
anything. I didn't
I'm
want to
not
say anything.
FBA.
Hold on.
Willis,
I didn't want to say anything. Are
go
you?
ahead.
You got a cold? Are you? Did you lose your voice or something?
Yeah, I lost my voice a little
Okay.
bit.
I didn't want to say anything.
I knew it was
Now
me.
No,
you
it's
were
okay.
born and raised. You were born and raised in America, or are you an immigrant from Kenya?
Yeah, I'm an immigrant.
So you were born in Kenya.
Yeah.
And how long have you lived in the States?
I lived in the States about 14 years. It's been I've learned English here. The education system was good.
Mhm.
Um and that's why I'm saying we always made it without y'all. I
Oh,
don't think there
so
was
you quote unquote made it. What does that mean to you? Are you a doctor, a
um
nurse? Do you live in a penthouse? Like, what do you mean made it?
made it. That's why I was telling you these African ladies, their kids are successful, so they're still gonna eat.
What are
You
you
guys,
doing? Hold on. No, nobody's saying they're not going to eat,
I
ma'am.
work in IT.
You work in IT. Do you know how many Black Americans also work in IT? Black Americans have been working IT much longer than
Yeah,
Kenyans.
Black Americans work in IT as well. They're doing
Okay.
good too. It's not
Okay.
a
So what do you?
competition
So
between us.
yeah. So do you understand that the doors have been open for you to come here and work in IT because of Black Americans, right?
No. Who is hiring? Who
Uh-uh,
is
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
who
See, and this is what I'm talking about.
Afro? Who is the owner of the company of IT jobs?
It
It's not
doesn't
Black
matter
Americans. It's
because
not
Black
Black Americans.
Americans,
It's
it used
Europeans
to
and
be,
Asians.
hold on, ma'am. It used to be a time in this country where Black people were only able to work low-level wage jobs.
That's none
Okay?
of our
Low, no,
business.
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not because we came over here and we made a path for you all, your ungrateful ass, to come over here.
The
And now,
Europeans
and
provide free
be
school,
quiet,
Afro
be
Elite.
quiet, okay? Because your voice is just kind of irritating me at this point. Now, this is why we're talking about when it comes to the social aspect. Do you see how she's coming over here talking about, yeah, we made it without you guys. We never needed you guys. And I'm explaining the only way you are even in IT is because these doors have been opened for you guys by Black Americans. First off, the only reason you're in America at all in general is because that door has been opened for you by Black Americans. And then you all come over here and you guys are on this damn pedestal, or you think you're on this pedestal where you don't need anybody. The only way you're able to go to school, hold on, ma'am. The only reason you're able to go to school, whether that's a public school, HBCU, or anything like that without discrimination, is because of Black Americans. And get a job and be paid equal to your white counterparts is because of Black Americans. The only reason you're able to come here and be successful, because if you were able to have equal success in what you say, Kenya, you'd still be there. So you came over here because you knew there was a higher chance of
Learn English.
hold on, because you understood that there was a higher chance of success here. And that is because of the sacrifices made by Black Americans. And the thing is that you are being disrespectful and dismissing that. And this is why the boycott that you are saying is not going to play effect is going to play effect. Okay? It's going to play effect.
Can I
Because
respond to you?
and you are just really, and I'm glad you're speaking now, because you are reinforcing the reason why we're having this.
Okay.
What's your
Talk
response?
like that reinforces the reason. Because how are we going to ally with somebody who's coming over here off of the plight and sacrifice of another group of people and talk about how much better they're doing?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and it's okay. You guys are allowed to boycott. But what I'm saying is,
Of course we're allowed
Africans.
to boycott. Y'all don't have no, what you're saying is, you
Oh,
need to
thank you,
rest your
dude.
voice, ma'am. You need to
She's
rest
a
your voice.
troll.
I
She
knew
was
she
just
was a
trolling
troll.
in the last live, acting like she was one of us, acting like she was FBA.
Yeah, first off, I kicked her because I care about her well-being. She needs to rest her voice. All of that talking is not good. All of that talking is not good. BX, you wanted to say something?
She has a history of reporting people's pages. And so before she responded, I was just going to alert you to that because the chat had alerted me to that. And as you see, I believe it was Willis, says that she trolls our spaces. So that's what she does. And then when she gets the desired effect that she wanted, she reports the page.
Yeah,
Well,
okay. At first, I thought she was like hiding under the bed. I didn't know what was going on.
That's what it was given.
I didn't know.
I am from Kenya too,
Hold
if
on.
we can.
Before we go ahead, because there's a couple other people who want to speak. ZZ, hop in when you feel like you want to interject or say anything.
Yeah, that
But
lady. I was about to go in on that lady for a second because I peeped it when she said, "Oh yeah, well, what about the medical field?" And what was the first one she said? Well, what about their sons and daughters are nurses and doctors? I'm like, girl, yo, get the hell out of here. Them kids ain't no damn dirt. Half of them kids working in a braided shop with her with their ass. What are you talking about? If they was relying on their children to retire like that, they would not be slaving in these damn braided shops the way they are. Trust and believe they would not. They will be over there, maxing and relaxing. So you already knew she was on troll time, and from the jump, I could tell.
and
She
see,
was
this
blowing it.
goes to the social aspect of the fact that they look at themselves differently from everybody else, and they look at themselves as a different team and have a different agenda. Okay, talk about the kids. Their kids are doing so well. If their kids were doing that well, they wouldn't have to be in the braiding shops.
Come on.
I, I'd like to make a comment on that if I
Hold
could.
on, real quick, because I think the next person we had here was Prime the Product.
How you doing, man? How
I'm
you
good. How
doing
you
today?
doing?
Uh, well, that's another problem is like physically they look like us and we have empathy and think that they're on our side, but then they have like an invert like racism, like they're not with us mentally, and like it's only about them and what's in it for them, and they think I know that their story to get here was hard and they probably did have to learn the language, and they think that just because their road was hard to get over here, that they don't owe anybody and don't have to consider how they got here. And I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's kind of disingenuous. And it's not like we're being haters or we don't hate. We don't want to bring anybody down. We're not selfish like that. But what we're not going to do is tolerate somebody to walk over our backs and then be disrespectful. It's like nobody else would put up with it, but they look at us and we have to turn the other cheek. We always have to be submissive. We always have to just let everybody have their way. And if we say anything about it, we are a victim, or it's a victim mindset, or we're not thinking. And I just think that's very disingenuous, and I do not respect it. And somebody has to learn it to just treat people as people, and they want to come at us like we're so evil. But when have we ever did that to anybody? Ever? We never did.
Yeah. Notice they would not tolerate us going anywhere in the continent at all. They wouldn't go anywhere in the continent at all and be speaking like that to the people who's native. They wouldn't go anywhere ever. They wouldn't go to the Caribbean either. You don't see no Kenyan person going to Jamaica talking about how they didn't need Jamaicans to get anywhere. They don't care about them. They're doing bad. Only here do we have this issue. We are the only group of people who, like I said, now she couldn't disagree. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us. You wouldn't be in IT if it wasn't for us. You wouldn't be paid equally if it wasn't for us. All of the rights that you benefit from currently is because of us. Y'all came after all of the sacrificing and all of the fighting was over to talk about how much better you're doing. You came here 14 years ago. That all of the civil rights was already won. After that, you didn't come contributing anything while you want to talk about how much better you're doing. Okay. And you're not doing that much better. Like I said, there's do you know how many black people are in IT who've been in IT way longer? Okay. Black people who've been inventors and pioneers in technology. Y'all not really doing nothing. Y'all not flexing and doing nothing better than nobody. All right. That's the truth. Now, if I have to drop some people down, don't feel no type of way about it, because there's a lot of people who want to come up.
No, you can drop me down. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I like to make a quick comment. You can drop me.
Yeah. What's your comment?
I think the way to end a lot of that foolishness they come in with is just give them the statistics. The reason why Black Americans have to be respected, because it was just released 2025. Black American buying power is 1.6 trillion. It's estimated to be by 2030 to grow to 1.9 trillion. And that whole Agenda 2063 of Africa is based on the buying power of Black Americans. So there's no way for them to debate with those statistics. You can say how well you're doing, but you're not doing that well that the American government figured that they needed to categorize your buying power. And that's what they're trying to tap into with the braid shops and the Essence Fest and all that, because the buying power we have. And I think our buying power is equivalent to maybe like the third or either a fourth or fifth nation in the world right now. So that's what they're trying to tap into. And at the end of the day, that got to be respected. If we have a problem with anybody, it's going to hurt them economically, because we decide where we spend our money at. And the next thing I think they need to understand, that Black Americans delineating has nothing to do with them. This thing been going on for hundreds of years over here, and they just Johnny come lately over here to what we're doing. We're delineating based on the laws here. If you don't delineate and separate yourself, these laws over here discriminate against you. And what they've been doing, if they, with the 1964 Civil Rights Bill and all that, it basically took the power away from the initial Civil Rights Bill in the 1800s, where it just spoke about us. But we allowed them to put that name minority in there, and then they start classifying white women and some everybody else as minorities, and it starts stealing off the plate from us. So now we're at the point, following my cousin's advice, Dr. Claude Anderson, that we start delineating and separating ourselves and saying, okay, just because you're saying minority, that has nothing to do with Black American. And I'm gonna get out your way. Good subject though.
You said Dr. Claude Anderson is your cousin?
Yeah.
He's your cousin for real, for real?
No, for real.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, tell him I want to do an interview. You know.
You know the thing. It ain't got to the point that we can't even talk to him no more because he's so sick now.
Oh man.
He like real old, and I mean his wife is like the guardian of the gate now. You got to get through her, and
Okay.
yeah. So that's what that is. All right, brothers. I'll talk to you people later. Yeah.
Yeah. Much respect to Dr. Anderson.
Okay, can I say something?
Hold on,
Damn, that's
because
Can
cool.
I go? I've been
there's
waiting.
a list of people who've been waiting, so we got to be respectful. All
Okay.
right, but you will get a chance to speak. So we'll get to Willis.
I want to start by thanking you for having such control of this space because, bro, normally what I experience is an uncivilized crap show. I mean, it's normally terrible. And, bro, you just got it running smooth. I love that. I'm black. By black, I mean FBA because that's what it means. I'm American. And I can trace my ancestry back before the census simply because we had a great, 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 great grandma that passed. So she was able to filter a lot of things into my family. So we've owned land for over 150 years. Um,
Nice.
but just to say a few things about the unity, um, I think that our people, our tribe, is the most inviting and accepting people that I've experienced in my worldwide travels. For us, mainly, if you show us respect, we will immediately get down with you. We will cook for you. We will share our art, our culture, our everything with you if you just show us a little respect. And we pretty much like that with everybody. I'm a military brat and I've been traveling for 23 years. In my travels in Europe and Asia and a lot of different places, whenever I've run into Africans, at first I thought cousins, hey, and then my people, we all in this together type thing. Never have they ever shown any love back to me when I walked up to show them love. Never. Um, Now I do know that like they don't get quite the same type of treatment that we get because whether people know it or not, Black Americans get love worldwide because we know how to act, and you know we're we're just cool people. I mean, our culture is something that literally people sell. But as far as in like the boycott, I'm with the boycott just because I believe in the delineation because I believe segregation or desegregation was essentially us sending our kids to be taught by people that hate them. Um, I think that when you're traveling in other countries like Thailand or Japan, there's a saying you never get into it with the locals because regardless of if you're right or you're wrong, you're in their space. And if you decide that you're going to turn up on them in their countries, it's going to go bad, very bad, every single time. So if they're wrong, you just deal with it. Okay, your food is wrong. All right, whatever. That's how that really works on a global deal. It's just that they don't have any respect for us. So when they come to the land that our ancestry built, in their minds, they can have disputes with us here. In their mind, they can come inside of our house and complain about what's being served for dinner. I mean, that's just how they think that this works. But if, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, if you go to Thailand and do that, you will be in the street bloody. Um,
Mm.
and also, I would like to say that, I'm down with any type of unity as long as it starts with respect. Because for us, we carry our ancestry with us. So much of what they went through, especially when you start getting older, you start realizing, yo, the generations before me were some powerful people because the fact that they dealt with all of that they did and still were able to get us to where we are right now and hand us the baton the way they did while not being completely broken is just amazing. And when you come here and disrespect any of us, you're disrespecting hundreds of years of my people. You didn't just disrespected me; you disrespected my grandma, my great grandfather, everybody. And that's all I want to say.
That's very true. That's very true. I second that. Okay. This is, and I've said this before, this is more than just about us. They're disrespecting all of the sacrifice it took for us to get where we are and for them to get where they are. And we can't allow that to happen. We can't. Let's get to delineationist. Delineationist. Are you there? Okay, well, he might not be here. So let's get to Jiro. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Afro Elite. I'm from Kenya. And I'm from Kenya and I have African, I don't know now if I should say African American or say Black American. I have Black American family too. And they are being supported. My brother married one of the housewife of Atlanta. I think everybody knows her, Mwangi. And I have so many African, Black American or African American going to Kenya. We take them to Ghana, Nigeria. They want to visit. They support, and they're supporting so much. And there's so much love. And so I have never seen this kind of separation. And the guy that just left, I could feel the pain when he said, I was never given love. And I can feel it. And I want, if you're still there, I want to tell you, not everybody hates. Some people still have love. And for me, I just love African Americans so much. And I do business with them. They support me. I support them. We do organization together. They want to go back home every year. We take them back home. And they really associate themselves as African American. So, and they don't even want to boycott our business now. It's thriving. So we cannot put ourselves to divide ourselves instead of coming together. And even now, when this conversation is very tense, we can, at least you're bringing a communication. People are communicating, right? You communicate, you fight. At the end of the day, you are still family. Okay?
Okay.
At the end of the day, you are still family. If you are Black or African, and you are put all together in a place, you still Black, you still African. So I still believe love will win, because somebody now is happy with this separation. Somebody is really, really celebrating, because if we all come together, there is power, you know? So to me, love's win. Like the person that says she's in Kenya, she learned English. In Kenya, is colonized by British. Everybody talks English. Okay? And we are not competing. We are not competing who is who. We are actually working together in unity. We are all children of God. Okay? So somebody is campaigning this thing to win. And nobody is winning. Because families of Africa, they have intermarried with Black American. They are going back home.
Now, this is the second time you said that. I was going to wait for you to finish when you said going back home, but you said that this is the second time now.
Yeah, since the Floyd, African American have been going to Ghana. They have been doing their DNAs. They find out they are from Nigeria, and everybody is visiting. Okay? Before, nobody was telling them where they are from. But
Okay,
now
let me
everybody knows.
hold on. Let me jump in. When
Yeah.
people talk about DNA evidence and stuff like that, being able to trace where you're quote unquote really from, that is a very flawed science.
Yeah.
Okay? DNA cannot really, because you can't do DNA on someone who's not here anymore. So what they use is they calculate the percentages based off of certain markers that they have in the world. All right. This is the science that they use. So it's accurate, or it can be, to figure out who your parents are, because if your parents are alive, they can compare the DNA and see if it matches. But it's very inaccurate and a flawed method to figure out where your ancestry is from hundreds of years ago. All right, which is why you have other ancestry.com that traces ancestry through documentation and lineage and stuff like that. All right, the scientists have already said that and the further back you go, the more difficult it is to even track that, because you can't track DNA of someone if you don't have their DNA. You can't track DNA of 200 years ago. All right. So what they do is they use markers of people alive today, and they'll say, most likely your DNA has a percentage of people who's on this place similar right now. So it's a flawed method. What I'm saying to say, what I'm saying
But
to
they are
say,
not going to China.
I,
They're
I,
going
I,
to Africa.
I know, but I'm saying this to say that when you say they're going home,
Hmm.
they are home, and we got to recognize that America is our home, you
Yeah,
know.
but they're still going home,
But
motherland.
no, they're not going home if they're leaving home. You know what
They
I'm
have
saying?
lands in Ghana. Have you
They
ever
have
watched that
they have what in Ghana?
documentary? Yeah,
They have
African American. They have already moved. They have lands. They are
okay.
happy.
Well, if they move and immigrate to Ghana and they develop a home in Ghana, that's different. But what I'm saying is the United States is our home. And if we immigrate someplace else, that's not us, quote unquote, going home. That's us moving out of home. You know what I'm saying? That's like when Kenyans come to
But people
America.
can call any
Ho-
country home.
Yeah, but when the way you worded it, I'm saying, because when
Hmm.
Kenyans come to America, they don't call that coming home. You know what I'm saying? So
They
when
say that.
okay,
Yeah, they say that.
Africa's not our
but
home because
man,
we've been displaced for over 500 years, ma'am.
Yeah,
We
but
don't consider
what
it
I'm
home.
saying is we cannot generalize. You can say that is
But
not
you
my
did.
home.
You generalized talking about they're coming home. You're
Because
tokenizing,
I am the one
ma'am. I
taking them
listened to
home
you,
every
ma'am,
year,
ma'am.
and they are paying.
Ma'am, you're tokenizing your Black American family and applying it to everybody. We don't consider, a large majority does not consider Africa our home, any nation our home. We just don't. Even with the DNA test, they cannot pinpoint a home. We have questions because our documentation all leads here to the United States of America,
Okay.
specifically the South. That is our home, ma'am. That's what we're telling you.
and
Okay,
this
okay.
and when I
Thank
tried
you.
to,
So the
I
one that they are
started off.
going
Hold
back to
on, hold
Africa,
on,
they don't
ma'am, hold
know.
on. I started off telling you that
Mm.
the tracking through DNA is a flawed method of tracking your ancestry. All
So
right,
the DNA is wrong.
the DNA is a flawed method. It's not right or wrong. It's
Mm.
inconclusive. It's not decisive enough. It's not solid enough to tell you where your ancestry is from, like you're saying. Because when people take it, they take it as absolute, and they don't factor in how the science even works. Most people who do that don't understand how that science even works. So they take it like
Mm.
whatever highest percentage I have of this land, I'm from this land, and that's not how the science works. All right, so I'm just letting you know
So
that.
the
But
science are wrong.
hold on, if you want to say that, yeah, the science is wrong, okay, or the
Okay.
people interpreting the science is wrong, that's a better way of saying that. All right,
Okay.
because you're getting up here, and I know you're speaking for your family, but there's a lot of people who've
Because
tried to
African Americans are my family too.
thank you. But there's a lot of people who are trying to push the narrative that we're not really from America. We're actually from Africa. And when we go to Africa, that's us really going home. Home is really
Which people
Africa.
are
It's not
telling
in
you that?
America. All right. So that's what you said, and you said it multiple times. So that's why I had to interject and
Yeah.
correct that point or clear that point up.
So let me ask you. So if you tell me today I am not African, I'm not from Africa, and I say yes, are you still mad?
No.
Yeah. So that is nobody should force anybody.
Nobody is forcing anybody on to do anything. I'm clearing something up because that can be misinterpreted and taken as misinformation. Because
Okay.
you're speaking and you're saying they're going home, and I just want to clear that up for the audience because that's not true. Black American, we are home here. This is our home here.
So why in African American history during February, why do they wear African clothes?
What African clothes?
Why do they always celebrate? Why do they say African American? Why they don't say Black
Well,
American?
for a lot of people are starting to say Black American. All right. And a lot of people have always said Black American. Now, we've used the term African American because that's been kind of given down from politicians like Jesse Jackson. And we've been classified as African American from that point. But we've never not said Black American most of
Is
the time.
Jesse Jackson African?
No, no,
So
actually.
why is he not associating with herself to say I am not African?
You gotta ask him because that's what he pushed the narrative for us to be classified as. But to be very honest, most of us have always just used the word black as the
Okay, so that
classification.
means African American, Black American are divided. They are not one.
Hold on, ma'am. Hold on, hold on. I'm going to explain this to you. We are a reclassified people, right? Every certain amount of years, the government comes along and they talk to who they think is our leader, but we're over 40 million strong. The leaders that they deem to be leaders does not always get it right. So we have a history of reclassification. My fourth grade granny from Alabama was listed as Creole on the 1870 census. By 1880, she was mulatto. And then you
What
go
is that?
on, 1 minute, it's
Okay.
Negro, then Black. There's nobody, I'm not listed as African American on my birth certificate and on any census until the 2000s are released, and we're only up to the 1950s if you do genealogy. So you taking a pretty much new
Who
time.
gave you the
Ma'am, you're
name
gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to
Negro?
learn.
stop.
Oh God.
Who gave you the name Negro?
Okay, here we go. Again, every few years, the government comes in and speaks to who they think is our leaders, right? And then they give us a reclassification. In my family, I can see Creoles, then they're mulattoes, then they're Negroes, then they're Black. They will never see or live to say African American. Even me, my documentation, okay, says Black. It doesn't
So
say
they should
African
say
American.
United States of
So
White
so
and
hold
Black.
on,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I
Since
heard
since you're
enough for
gonna
you.
keep doing that, we're gonna have to
Right.
just after
I
VX,
think
Thank you
we're
it's
gonna have
so
time to
to
much,
move
stop.
on because her
Afroelite.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
comprehension
appreciate
isn't
you.
picking
Thank
it
you
up.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for conversation.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. BX, can you go ahead?
Sure. Please, y'all study reclassification. That applies to foundational Black Americans, which we're actually saying the government cannot identify us no more. We know who we are, and African American does not fit. And since everybody want to say they're Black or Black American, we're foundational. It's a distinction between us and the immigrant class. And I believe Najima is next.
Okay. We're gonna get to her, but I just want to say because people are like, "Oh, you're from Kenya. They're gonna bully you. They're gonna bully you." We heard her out, and we heard her out, and we kept having the conversation. And then in the middle of our conversation, she kept coming in with questions, and we were civil about it. But it was almost as if she was trying not to understand and really be passive aggressively arguing with us versus pure and actual curiosity. It wasn't her being curious. She was kind of just being I don't even want to say obtuse. She was being an opposition, okay? Or she was being contrarian to what we were saying. All right? She didn't want to get it. All right? But you see how civil we handled that. Do you see how civil we handled that? All right? Now let's get to Najma.
That's Najma.
Najma, okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Somalia.
Okay.
What's it called? I basically, first, like, I just want to say, like, I have no arguments. Like, I understand Black Americans paved the way for, like, a lot of immigrants, including African American. I'm sorry, including Africans. That's not my argument. That's basic history. Any African in there, you should know that. My thing is, I'm African. I'm born in Somalia. I don't know if you know East Africa, West Africa, always conversations. And I guess I basically wanted to come on here and say, like, at the end of the day, like, we are still, like, the same color. Like, whatever you call it, you could be light skin, brown skin, whatever. But all the hate, I honestly feel like, as Africa as a whole, even if you're a descendant of Africans, it does not help us in the long run. Like, right now, I know a lot of people can say, like, Africa's a dump, blah, 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 like, none of the countries are thriving because of division, because of tribalism, because someone thinking that they're better than the other one, not respecting one another. It is a constant struggle as Africans, and to say that we are gonna, like, boycott one another because the other one is not respecting us does not solve, in my opinion, the problem. I feel like there needs to be a genuine conversation had. And I could say that as someone who's East African, I've seen the hate that East Africans have given West Africans, and that's just some. Not everyone has that. Just like I can't generalize that, like, Black Americans are all nice people. Like, I can't generalize. Everybody has different experiences with who they encounter, right? But in the long run, if Africa as a whole could come together, and, like, right now in Europe, you don't see Italians saying, I could never interact with someone that's French, or you don't see Americans going there and saying,
I
oh my
mean,
God.
you see Russia and Ukraine going at it, but okay.
Yes, Russia and Ukraine are going at it, but they're not going at it in the sense that it's a racial thing. They're going at it in the sense that it's a, what's it called, a territorial thing, like land-wise, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot of Russians who are the, like, family with Ukrainians who speak the same language. And that is basically my point. Like, Africa's downfall will forever be not understanding one another and just always, like, obviously, like white people have done a number on all of America, all of Africa, all of every single country. And there is this strong hate, even amongst ourselves, to want to be more, how do you say, Eurocentric, whatever. And so, of course, we're always going to have division. One person is always going to say, even Black Americans, there's always a fight between people saying colorist stuff. Like, oh, I'm light skinned, I'm better than you. Like, that is never going to get us somewhere. Like, you, at the end of the day, are still a Black person, right? And that's why I personally don't agree with the African
Now,
boycott.
let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. Now, I want to reframe what you said,
Yeah.
because from our perspective, now I'm just an FBA person. I don't speak for FBA because it's a lineage, right?
Yeah.
But from what I've heard about people who are in support of the boycott, this is not about hate, okay? Or this is not about us trying to prove that we are better than you. This is about us trying to solve an issue that we've been having when it comes to people from the diaspora for generations now. And the thing is that now I do understand that you feel as if we should have conversations and we should talk things out, which I agree. I think that should be our go-to method of solving issues. The problem lies in the fact that that's been done. So that's been done, and it has been conversations after conversations after conversations after conversations after live. This has been done for years now, and it's to a point where the diaspora, because it's not just Africans, a lot of Caribbeans, the diaspora is not going to change their ways unless something makes them change their ways. So this is the point where we're at right now. We're at this point because trying to be civil and talk it out is not working. They're at this point because they're coming over here with the disposition that, like you heard the Kenyan woman, we don't need you guys. We're doing better than you guys. We're coming over here. We're becoming nurses and doctors and all of this stuff. And this is something we don't just hear from one African country. We hear this pretty much across the board, whether they from Kenya, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan. All of these African countries will come over here, and they almost have the same vitriol towards us. You know what I'm saying? It's not like one or two people or one or two ethnicities, you know? So this is why we're at this point. because we are understanding and coming to the realization that we don't have the same common agenda, and that this alliance that we keep getting told that we need to practice has been one-sided, you know. And as far as alliance, the alliance is not met with the same level of respect, okay? Is not met with that. So this is why we're having the conversation. Now, you were here, I believe you were here when the Kenyan woman said that she doesn't owe us anything, or she doesn't owe Black Americans anything. We haven't helped her, right? You were here when she said that, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think now? You're from Sudan, right?
Somalia.
Somalia. You're from Somalia.
Yeah.
If we were to go to Somalia and speak like that among the Somalian people, how do you think the Somalian people would act or respond?
That's disrespectful. That's another person's country.
Yes. Do you think that they would support their businesses and their business ventures and things like that?
You're gonna get cussed out.
It's gonna get a lot
Yeah.
nastier than getting cussed out now.
Yeah, no, I clearly, like, I don't agree with what she said. I think it's a very ignorant response. Like, yes, you don't owe anybody anything, but you also have to acknowledge history. Like, you come to America, it's because of all the struggle Black Americans had to go through. Now, I know you said, I just want to touch on one thing. I know you said there's been conversations, and while I know it is very tiring to continue to have conversations, I also think that I haven't honestly seen a true conversation between, like, an Black American leader, like one that the people, like Black Americans, have chosen, and what's it called? An African leaders talking, because I could say this. Like, I come from a country where, like, I could get so much hate based on my tribe. Like, someone would want to kill me because of my tribe. So I
Don't say the K word.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-huh.
But I don't necessarily need people to like me, but it's you. People should be able to, like, tolerate them and respect them without wanting to harm them. And I guess that's where I'm like, in the long run, I don't see how tearing each other down based on some people who are very ignorant, didn't get a lot of education, and are being fed a lot of stereotypes. I don't see how their comments basically reflect all of the diaspora. Because
No, nobody's saying it reflects all of.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm
Okay.
saying, like, in the end, that's like my belief. Like, I don't
Okay.
think tearing
Well,
each other.
let me add to this. All right. When you say our leaders, there are really no leaders. We have people who might have a big profile, a high profile. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, this live right here. I'm not a leader. I'm not the leader of Black Americans, though. You know, there are a lot of people who might have higher profiles, and even if you want to talk about politicians, they're not necessarily leaders of the ethnicity. So this needs to be a cultural conversation, not just one person to another person, because they might get along, but the culture still might clash. The ethnic groups still might clash. So this needs to be a conversation among many people. This needs to be a conversation among their ethnicity. All right. So what needs to happen to solve the issue, what needs to happen is the conversation with the diaspora needs to be taking place, and you all need to get past the tribalism beefs that go on in Africa, and then you guys need
It's
to have a
not that
conversation.
easy.
Hold on, I'm almost done. And then you all need to have a conversation about showing respect and paying homage. We're not asking for anybody to kiss our ass, but showing a level of respect, the same respect that we would show if we went to Somalia, or we would show when we went anywhere else in Africa or the Caribbean. Okay, the same respect that you will require when people come to your country is the same respect that you should have when you come to somebody else's country. All right, so that needs to be a conversation among the diaspora. All right, because that's not a problem that we have. That's a problem that the diaspora has. So in order
I don't. I think you can definitely. No, I agree with everything you said, but I think to say that's not a, like, problem. Like, it's not a problem, but I think everyone is entitled to their own experience and perspectives on the last part, because not
Well,
everyone has great encounters
yeah,
with
but yeah,
people.
even if I went to Somalia and I had negative encounters with one or two people, I wouldn't be able to speak on the entire group of people as if my group is better. What we have people from the diaspora coming over here, not speaking on their individual experience. They're speaking on behalf of their ethnic group and saying that hold on, they're saying that their ethnic group is doing better. All right, they're saying, like that one woman, she's saying that Kenyans are doing better. Kenyans don't need black Americans. They're speaking as if they're on some type of pedestal. All right.
Yeah.
So
Well, can I
that's the
say?
disrespect.
Yeah. Well,
But
can
I'm
I
gonna let
say?
you land and then we're gonna have to move on.
Okay. Well, can I say with that? Like, do you think? Because obviously, like you said, there's not one spokesman for for Black Americans that Africans can look to. Well,
Hmm.
can you say that the American, just media has represented Black Americans in a way that Africans back home could see and think, differently? Because I also think it's a lot of like brainwashing and even amongst one another.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think there's a lot of still like on brainwashing that Africans have to do even amongst each other. And it's not going to be easy, but I also don't think it helps to kind of continue that, like, okay, we're going to separate, we're going to isolate, because it will never, like, other people of other ethnic backgrounds will never see us as different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
yeah, so
But
that's what my main thing is. That's the only like point that
yeah,
has. But I
yeah. I mean, well,
agree.
they understand the difference, but as far as us all being Negroes, they see us all as Negroes.
Exactly. That's
But
my
the point
main.
here, but the point, to answer your question,
What's
there is
yeah.
a lot of brainwashing that goes on. However, we've been letting that excuse slide a little bit too much. As far as the media is concerned, we've been letting that slide a little bit too much because they don't have that same type of energy when it comes to the Caribbean. They don't have that same type of energy when it comes to any other ethnic group. They only have that energy when it comes to us. And what we are also realizing is that it's not just people who are direct immigrants. We have first generation, even second generation immigrants, okay, who are born and raised in America, talking about we don't have culture, like Kai Sanat and all that stuff. So
I
we
mean, no
have
hate
people
to
who
the
are born and
Caribbean.
raised here who have watched the same media, who are exposed to the same school system, and who grew up really alongside us and still carry this level of disrespect. So
Yeah.
we
It's
can't
very
just
hard,
put
yeah.
it off all on the media that gets
Yeah.
portrayed, or our image
I
that
will
gets portrayed in Africa.
okay, I'm gonna head out, but I will say, like, as someone who's from like was from Africa, like I like you guys are the most famous Black people outside of Africa, you know? So I didn't even know Caribbeans existed until I came to America. So um maybe it's that unknowing of things that kind of is like, oh, I haven't heard from this, you know? But since you guys are like in the media a lot more, since you guys like in like are home to one of the biggest countries in the world, I think that kind of adds a lot to it. That's probably why people have a lot of opinions, you know? And the yeah. But
What
anyways,
do you think, before you go, what do you think Africans should do
I
to
think there's
fix
a lot of healing.
their level of respect in their relationship with Black Americans?
I don't. I think there's yes, respect is a thing, but I think there's a lot of elders and there's a lot of things that gets passed down to one another, and Africa as a whole, including the way we see African Americans and even African Americans. I think there's a lot of like healing that we need to do, because you are like, not to say that your experience is not valid, but you are not alone in feeling disrespected by other Africans. You know, that is a universal feeling for Africans, because I can't vouch for everybody, but as someone who's East African, I've seen the level of hate that has been given to West Africans, and I've seen different hate given to you know, like even Arabs giving to East Africans, you know, even in Africa. So I just think there's a lot of healing we need to do as a society to grow, and I don't think we're there yet, but hopefully we get there. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's why it's on the prompt. Unity requires a common agenda. Okay, if you got two different people, even if they're of the same nationality and two different tribes, if they don't have the same agenda, they're going to be at odds with each other. You know what I'm saying? So there needs to be a conversation about what should the agenda be in Africa. And that's that's the reason why Africa's going through what they're going through. I know you're about to leave, but that's the reason why Africa's going through what they're going through. Because let's be honest, what is the agenda collectively
I
among
mean,
different tribes of people? And a lot of people's agenda is to pretty much do for self and not what's in the best interest of the group. So that's the conversation. That's the conversation that needs to be had among the people, not just the politicians or the leaders or the people with big platforms. That's the conversation that needs to be had consistently among the people, so it can really be ingrained in the minds of the people that they have to reassess their agenda. All right.
yeah, but can you really do that when one party, like white people are still in Africa funding certain groups of people specifically to tear that economy down, to tear one another down? So how can we truly heal when
I
there's
mean,
still
that happens here.
no, not in the extent that it's happening right now in
No, I
Africa?
mean, we were literally considered less than human beings here, and we
Yeah,
were
no,
still.
I don't mean it didn't happen here. I mean it happening now. Like
Okay, but what we did then, learn from what we did then. What we did then is said, hey, we gonna have to all get on the same page. Every single last one of us, we gotta all get on the same page. So that's what you all need to understand, especially if y'all got a present common enemy. It shouldn't even be a conversation about getting on the same page. But we are gonna have to move
a little
on.
bit more complex than that. But yes, okay.
It's not really. Everybody's trying to make it seem like it is. It's not really.
That's not.
But all right,
We're gonna have to disagree too. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right.
Afro Lee, let me just remind the chat to please tap the screen, click the orange heart, complete the daily mission to help Afro Elite and the rankings and algorithms share the live out so we could get some new people in here. I'm interested to hear what ZZ actually thinks, and you too, because from everybody that we've heard who was not Black American, I don't think we have any allies in them. The whole thing about the media, we also had A Different World, Cosby Show, all these shows that showed a different side or light of foundational Black Americans. So we can't take that media comment seriously anymore. It was okay the first few times, but when you think about it, we have proper representation. Also, it seems dismissive when she says, well, you're part of one of the biggest in the world, so your media is shown more. Ma'am, we knock down doors. Like, I think they dismiss us because they don't realize the struggle since they're not from the struggle on this land. I'm not saying they didn't go through things in their land, but here we are the first to do everything, right? And we get to see Jamaicans in media from their artists, right? And when they make movies, it's therefore a shot as is made over like a documentary about Nanny Maroon, right? It's their people who showcase their parties where they're scantily dressed and jumping off stereos and stuff, but still we don't judge them, right? The way they judge us for whatever it is that may be considered twerking or a little out of the norm. But y'all are focusing too much on we live in the largest media place in the world as if we didn't have a struggle. And that's what I'm tired of. So I don't see no allies here. I see people that want us to remain silent, not boycott, and continue along as long as they benefit at our sufferance. And that's what's wrong.
The prompt is really getting them. But Zizi, I'm gonna let you weigh in on that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you let her go for so long. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you was gonna cut her off about halfway through. She was kind of long-winded. She sounded young as hell.
That's
And
why
not even. That's why you let her talk. Yeah, she sounded really young. Not only the way that she acted her voice, but she sounded like what she was saying just sounded a little underdeveloped. She sounded young. But yeah, I think these trolls are getting are wisening up a little bit. I think that's a part of it as well. Not to say that she was a troll, but there's a lot of people with that similar energy, where you're coming in thinking it's innocent, thinking it's just, oh well, I just think we all need to be unified, and It's always they want to lead with unity, and I don't think we should be, disrespecting each other. But they don't come up with any other solution. It's like, okay, well, if we're telling you that we're feeling it, we're seeing it, we're experiencing this disrespect, these disparaging actions, that y'all are playing behind our back, kind of, playing in our face and poking us in the back. Where is the resolution to that? We can't just keep going off of, oh, we need to be unified. Oh, well, the government, it's not as easy as it seems. It's like,
I have a
everybody
question.
got an excuse, but don't nobody got a solution. You know what I'm saying? So we have to deal with with the cards that we have dealt. Right now, we see what's been happening these last few years. We see on a social, on an economic, on a political level, how these people have disparaged our community. You know how they've been undermining us. So we have to call that out. We have to do something about that. We can't just continue to do that because we're all black and because we all supposed to just be getting along. That's unrealistic. We have to deal with what we're dealing with. We still have a system to go against. We can't have another group that's trying to be above class to the system to go against us as well, by also us trying to act like we're kumbaya and we're just all family. Like it doesn't make sense. So, again, these people, I think, I want to put that sort of mentality in a category of trolling, because that doesn't really lead to anything. We can keep talking, oh, we're all black, but they all see us. We know that as black Americans. Most of us know that. The point is, we're at a crossroads now where, do y'all know that? Some of y'all don't know that. And we gotta pick and choose. We gotta be careful in who we work with and how we work with y'all moving forward. It's that simple. It's really just that simple. So yeah, I don't like that. I feel like the people that come in here and with that they come in with that front talking about, yeah, we're just here for unity, and instead of being upfront and honest actually about what the conversation is about, it's a telltale sign that they know what's really going on, but they're hiding behind this mask of, oh yeah, well, we just need to be black unity,
So
and
I have a
the
question.
conversation
So
is more nuanced
where's
than
the
that.
Now,
lack of?
the reason why I have this conversation with her, and thank you for that, because to a degree it becomes disingenuous
Yeah.
when we're explaining the point to you, and it's always well, what about this? But this, but this, but this, but this, but this, but this. It becomes disingenuous. The reason why you have to dissect certain things differently is because they're going to come in and they're going to be all like, man, I understand there's problems in Africa, but we should all get along. I don't agree with the boycott. And then I said, okay, well, what do you think we should do? And I'm letting this be known that this is about an actual goal and an actual mission we have, because this is not personal. This is not because I had a bad personal experience with one African person, a Somalian person. This is because collectively, as she actually had to admit, collectively, her people are not unified. Her people are not unified there, and her people are not unified over here. The thing is that we're having the conversation, letting it be known, oh no, this is business. This is not personal. This is not personal. And I hope you guys have, there was a lot of takeaway from that conversation. All right. But not to be too long-winded though, because we've had a lot of back and forth with the last couple of callers, just to establish to you guys that we are intelligent enough and civil enough to have a conversation with people, because this isn't no, well, you're an African booty scratcher, get away from me. No, this is because there is a certain pattern of behavior that stems from Africa. There's a certain cultural behavior that stems from Africa that they want to come over here, and even if they don't dismiss, they belittle. And they say, well, can't we look past that for the common goal? And then we establish that actually, no, we cannot look past this for a quote unquote common goal, because this is what is this is an impediment to us reaching this goal. So this is why we have these conversations. It's a lot to learn. Y'all got to make sure y'all tap the screen, everybody. Tap the screen. All right, we'll get to Alexander.
Yeah, hi. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you? Where are you from?
Okay, so originally I was born in Angola. That's southwest of Africa, but my dad is from Brazil and my mother is original from Africa. So I mean, I speak Portuguese, Spanish, and a little bit Italian. So first of all, I just want to say that when you said I came here, Black America unity requires a common agenda. One side alliance will not work. I mean, I do believe in the because I mean there is a common problem. I was listening to that lady from Kenya. I mean, what she said, it was unbelievable when she said that we don't owe you. We have a doctor. All this, we go to school. It's just unbelievable. I couldn't because first of all, she failed to recognize that one of the reasons that she came here, she went to school. Maybe she got a student loan, a Pell Grant. She dismissed the fact that there was a civil rights movement for that. It wasn't just for free. And even if you work for IT, I mean, I'm a database administrator too, but when I came here, I took a student loan. So I'm not saying that. So there is no way I'm gonna see a black American say, "Oh, I'm smarter than you." You don't. I mean, that's it. Just unbelievable because the same thing I did, African American, they can do it too. But the problem may be some of a few of them that I met a friend, they didn't notice. Oh, but how you was able to, how did you learn how to code? I said no. All you have to do, you go to this school, you do this, and do this, and some of them they did. So, but now the problem is the boycott. I think it does work because yes, there is a big problem with African people that they think just because they came here, they opened a shop and they started making money, they look down on the black people. Yes, it does happen because I had my ex, she was doing the same thing. Oh no, I'm driving a Mercedes Benz, look at them. I say, yeah, but the problem is you came here. First of all, you should recognize that these people they went through a lot because there is no way if there was no civil right, what they went through, there was no chance for you to succeed. The way that you succeeded, you go to the bank, get a loan. That would not happen if there was nobody to fight for that. So, and the other thing is, you know, I grew up in Portugal. I left Africa when I was 12. However, when I came here, the first time I heard the word, oh, Black America, they lazy, they don't know, there are no smart. I mean, it wasn't from Nigeria, I ain't gonna lie to you. It seems to be a pattern, even though it's some Africa, they do the same thing. But however, the Nigeria, there are the first one. So the boycott it worked. I think yes. I mean, and then it should be allowed so that they can come to a conclusion. They say, hey, even though I came here, but there was somebody who fought for this, whatever I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the right thing, even though I don't know how long. But yes, you guys. I mean, just the same thing that you guys did in order to have a civil right movement. I mean, there was a sacrifice, there was boycott, all the kind of stuff. I think, it should be the same thing so that they come to realize, hey, we should be more respect. Because honestly speaking, I would not allow somebody to come in my country and tell me, oh, you are not this, you are not from Angola, you ain't supposed to eat. No, I think that is their respect. And also the African people, they should define who you are. If you are Black American, if you are African American, that's not up to us to define. Okay, no, you came from Africa. I mean, that's not even though your ancestor came from Africa, that's fine. But if you say, hey, I'm a Black American, that's what we should accept, but you can say, oh, some of them they going back to Africa, they going home. I mean, they going back home. I'm from Angola. I'm not good just because if I go to visit Kenya, I'm not saying, oh, I'm from Kenya. No, because I wasn't born there. I didn't grow up there.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean I'm gonna look down on them because I'm from a different place.
That's true.
It doesn't work that way, and they know well because okay, I can give you an example. South
But
Africa.
can you just be because I want to make sure I get to everybody real quick. So if you could, I'll give you a good 20 seconds to give your example.
You said to give what?
To give your example.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm letting you land.
Okay, yeah. So like, I give you an example. Like in South Africa, the same thing. In South Africa, black people they don't like it. Other people from different countries because when they come here, they wanted to define who they are. So what they do, they fight back, especially the Nigerian. So that is a problem. And I mean, honestly, I don't. I mean, I do respect African American because I know just because I'm a Python developer, it doesn't mean that I am something special. I'm not.
Hmm.
I do work with a lot of African American who are like data scientists, data engineer. They did the same thing. Sometimes I ask them, hey, I don't know how to do this. And they teach me. But yes, we do have a common, I
Hmm.
mean, we do have a respect. I tell them, hey, I'm here, I'm doing this because you guys fought hard for this. If I'm working because maybe I'm making more money than a white tee because there was somebody who fought for that. There was they shared lives for that. It just, it wasn't just for
Exactly.
free. It wasn't.
And this is why I'm saying the issue is about economic, political, and even social delineation that they've had and rivalries that they've had when it comes to us. And I appreciate you acknowledging that. All right. The fact that a lot of them, they'll come over and they'll talk about how much better they're doing, how they're nurses and doctors. And a lot of that nurses and doctor stuff is very embellished, to be honest. Because they'll make it seem like 90% of them are nurses and doctors. No, that's very inaccurate. All right. We're not gonna sit up there and make it seem like y'all out here and y'all got millionaires and billionaires just roaming through the streets like that. A lot of the success that they try to brag on and ride on is very embellished. All right, because there
Yeah.
wouldn't need to be so many damn African braiding shops if it was just a hobby. If they were living in a penthouse and they didn't need it. So we're not gonna sit up here and do that. But the thing is that they'll come over here and they'll say, "Well, we got it. We don't need y'all. My job. It's a white man who owned my building." Da 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 da. As the woman was saying. Do you understand? And as far as that is concerned, not only is it disrespectful and offensive, it also reinforces the stereotypes that Black Americans are not where we're supposed to be out of our own self.
Mhm.
Okay, it reinforces the stereotypes that there's a flaw within our culture and our upbringing, that there's really no system that subjugates us. Is really the fact that we're just lazy people or unintelligent people. All right. So that's why it's very harmful when they do that.
Yeah, that's just very disrespectful. Yeah, I agree with you. There is, I can't even argue with that. That's very, very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Then sometimes I heard, oh, because just because he's, I mean, I live in Dallas. Okay, I go to, you can go to South Dallas because they have a lot of,
But I'm gonna let you.
gay
I'm gonna let you.
people. Okay.
I'm gonna let you. Give like a good 5 seconds. I'm gonna, let because you know we got to get to other speakers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, some they say, "Oh, there is a lot of poor people." Yeah, but it doesn't compare to Africa. That's it. Just because you go to South Dallas, you see a whole bunch of kids, sleeping on the street. It's far worse in Africa.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a reality. That's it.
All right. Yes, that's true. Thank you. All right. BX or ZZ, did you want to say anything before we move on?
No.
But as soon as they say a state in the United States of America, all I hear is gentrifier. That's all I hear. Like I'm just like kind of over them. And like I said before, it's like they want us to overlook certain things. But my whole question is, would they be willing to vote in a manner that would be suitable for foundational Black Americans? The young lady who said no the last time comes in and tells you shut up, Trump support in the comments. So I muted her for the rest of the live until she could come up on the panel and actually say it was her chest. But she's not even in the request box. So for Black Americans, a lot of us are fed up. A lot of us are also former Pan African. We
Hmm.
remember the time when when we were champion South Africa during apartheid, and even though we couldn't physically get over there or were too young to necessarily understand when who we considered respectful members saying, "Look, over here in Africa, something is going on. Do not buy from XYZ company." We just didn't. So we understood that all the babies over there wasn't starving. Even though that's what the media portrayed of Africa, we knew about the great kingdoms, but y'all wasn't a real focus, wasn't even taught about in our schools. We researched on our own, and we realized by a certain age that our media was full of ish. Our government was full of ish. And even Malcolm X, that y'all like to bring up so much, says there was print media when he was traveling there, and y'all understood what was going on during civil rights. But conveniently, nobody knows nothing, and they're all doing better than us, and we don't really have no issues. We're just not taking advantage of the opportunities here. And so it's a little disingenuous on their part to continuously say, yeah, you should be respected, but boycotting ain't the way. Boycotting is the most effective way without somebody being knocked upside the head. You got to be reprimanded. You got to be punished. And you got to start speaking to your people a little more. Or else don't even fix your mouth about unity. And that's just where I'm at with it, Afro.
All right.
Yeah, I second that. But I will say his voice was a little distracting. He kind of sounded like a Muppet. So I was a little in and out of the list. I'm not gonna lie.
You do got a thick accent, brother.
Accent was thick as fuck. It's worse.
All right. Let's get to Adola, if that's how you pronounce your name.
Sadiola.
Adiola. Okay. How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having this conversation.
Mhm.
It has been riveting so far. So I'm Nigerian. I was born in the US, born and raised in Oakland, California. And I agree with a lot of what was said on the panel. I just want to talk from a perspective of somebody who is Nigerian, born and raised in America, and has honestly done a lot of work within the African American community over the past, I would say, like 25 plus years. So I think what's interesting about the conversation that we're having about today is I think overall, I guess my general question for you would be like, what are the specific intended outcomes that you all are expecting? Because I think even when we think about like the civil rights movement, for example, there were African people, there were Caribbean people that participated in those movements for Black liberation, and decided to participate. They were not in the forefront outside of like a Stokely Carmichael or a Shirley Chisholm, but there were people that participated. So I think that as we're talking about um, overall, like what are the specific intended outcomes, the reality is like all Africans are not the same. All of our perspectives are not the same. And I know for me, I was able to learn, I didn't even learn Black history in Oakland public schools. Like when I went to Spelman for undergrad, and when I got there and I learned African American history, I was like, oh, they done lied. They done lied. They done lied. And because there's a lot of things that I did not know. But I think in terms of, I guess my first question for you all really is like, what is the specific intended outcome that you all want to come from the boycott?
Okay, well, the first question to answer, the intended outcome is for enough, because the thing is that we are not trying to generalize every single African. Okay, the intended outcome is for um, Africans as a collective to get on code, to be on code. All right. So right now, what we're doing is economically, socially, and politically, Africans have come here and they've developed their enclaves where they do for selves, and their priority is either for themselves or even for immigrants in general. So they will prioritize doing business with other immigrants before they do business with us. They will speak on us in a social manner that is very degrading, just like that one woman. That's very disrespectful, just like that one woman. So that has been going on for too long without being addressed by the African population. Because a lot of times there's a lot of people, not just Africans, but a lot of people from the diaspora that agrees with those statements. Like when Kai Cenat said that, well, y'all are just Black, so y'all don't really have a culture because you're not from Africa, you're not from the Caribbean, you don't have a culture. There's a lot of people who might not say it, but they actually do agree with that sentiment. All right? They agree with that stuff. So the problem is they're not correcting each other on their open disrespect. They're not, the diaspora isn't correcting the tether class on their open disrespect because subconsciously or secretly rather, they agree with some of
Well,
the things that are being said. So this is
so
the
I want
conversation. The outcome of the boycott is going to force them to have the conversation that they need to start showing respect. That all of this, we're coming over here and we're doing better than you, and then the African population is kind of quiet, or the immigrant population doesn't call that behavior out, not in large numbers, because a lot of them agree. So the fact that we're getting disrespected without that being checked is going to cease. That's one of the results from the boycott.
Well, just to address Kai specifically, because Lord, because I mean, it's obviously very clearly ignorant, and I think that obviously the way that our cultures move are not necessarily in a way where somebody like I don't know Kai to have that conversation with him, but it's very clear that he obviously doesn't know Black history. I mean, that's just for somebody to even say something that's so ridiculous because I believe because I read it and I know it that Black Americans have some of the strongest and richest and more powerful history and culture in the world. What I would like to add to the conversation, though, is while I understand that there may not necessarily come to a time where there's unity, I do think there needs to be alignment and purpose. And I believe alignment and purpose would require for us to come to the table and just have a conversation about you know, this is what, as African American people or Black American, these are the things that we believe that you guys have received from our culture. And these are the things that we want, right? And I think that somebody in the comments stated that, well, we don't have a leader. And I'm like, well, if you guys don't have a leader, there really is, it's going to be hard for us to be able to have that conversation. But I would also add to this conversation
We don't
that
need a conversation.
the demands that are you all are requesting should not only be from African people. It needs to be from all people in America, white women included,
One minute,
because a
one
lot of
minute.
them got rights
Ma'am,
based off
ma'am,
of Black
ma'am,
people's rights.
ma'am. One moment. We'd like to address the demographic that comes to the panel and answer, but you said something very, oh, it was others, not Stokely Carmichael's, but the Caribbean. Let me tell you what the Caribbean did to us. See, this is why you already realize that they don't teach the real history, right? So even in a diverse city such as New York, what we're finding is that there's a disparity in home ownership between Afro-Caribbeans and foundational Black Americans. I call the Caribbean, along with the the Africans, gentrifiers. This is what they do. When we had Jim Crow North, they were given incentives. One incentive was to buy homes that we couldn't in areas that we couldn't. And instead of reaching back for the very ones who eased Black immigration restriction, they locked us out of home ownership by only selling to their own. They were dubbed the West Indian real estate cartel. So when you start talking this unity and this person helped during Jim Crow, civil rights and all of this, but there was more harm than good by them. And the disparity still persists today, and we also see it when we look at Brooklyn and them trying to appropriate Juneteenth. This is why we're not speaking to the Caribbean until they join, because you didn't know that you're Nigerian,
Right.
right?
Look, again, there's a ton of fractures obviously within African communities overall. Like I'm not sure exactly what again, because I'm not from New York City. I'm from Oakland. I can only primarily speak as it relates to that. But I'm not disparaging during your comment, and I most certainly don't disagree. But what I am saying is the reality is this conversation is what's because somebody said, "Well, I don't want to have any more conversations." And the reality is like if we don't have the conversations, we don't know what's happening. I didn't know that Kai Cenat said what he said. So I just came back from the National Bar Association, where all the Black lawyers get together to talk about African American rights in America. So here I am, honestly, only because I have the day off to even participate in this conversation. So we can't bring what you all want forward if we don't have the conversation. And I think the
Well, you
point that I'm
can if
making
you
is
have the conversations with your own, because you could have found out that information from somebody who was also non-FBA.
Pastor
Casanet has
not
a
is not my number
huge
one issue right now. The
Casanet
fact that
has a
Black people are
large
being attacked in
non-FBA following.
America
I'm going to your
and
point
Trump
that
is
you
the
didn't
number
hear
one Black
that.
issue right now.
I'm going to your point that you say you didn't hear that with the outside of this conversation. Well, you could have heard that in a conversation with your own people, because they would have
No,
known
I
that.
wouldn't
There's a
have
lot
because
of y'all that follow him.
I'm not Jamaican. I'm not
It doesn't
Jamaican, so
matter.
I
I
wouldn't
said
have known that he
non-FBA.
said it.
Non-FBA. It doesn't matter. Even a Jamaican, he's Caribbean as well, so he has a lot of Caribbean
But I
followers.
don't follow
Doesn't
him
matter.
because I don't follow ignorance. So all I'm saying
And
is,
you
and
don't have to follow
that's no
ignorance.
shade
We
to
don't
him.
follow ignorance either, but we
Exactly,
heard it. We
exactly.
damn
But
sure
what I'm
heard
saying,
it.
but
We heard
the point that
ignorance.
I'm making, the
It's
point
called
that
the
I'm trying to
internet.
make
It's
is,
everywhere.
us having the conversation is how we're going to be able to address the
No, no,
issues.
no. See, here's
There's
the
really
thing.
no other way
You
to do it.
started
If
with
not,
hold up,
then
hold up,
what
hold
is
up,
the
hold up,
act?
hold up.
If that's
Hold
not
up,
it,
hold up,
then
hold
what
up,
is
hold up,
the
hold up, hold up, hold
action?
up.
What is the
Listen,
specific
listen
action?
for a second. Hold up, listen for a second. Because you started with, oh well, he clearly he doesn't have understanding. He doesn't know Black history. Knowing Black history and understanding culture are not the same. That's not synonymous. He knows what Jamaican culture is. He knows what African culture is. That's why he named all those other countries. But when it comes to
But
Black American, it's he just don't know his Black history. No, he don't got to know his Black history, and I guarantee you
yes,
he
he
probably
does.
does.
Yes, he does.
He
That's
probably
I agree
does
with you.
know it. But he
Everybody
don't
in
got to know Black
America,
history
no,
in order to
everybody
know
in
that we have
America
the
needs to
greatest
know
damn
African
culture in
American
this world.
history.
It's just
Everybody in
prevalent. That's why he's
America
here. That's why
needs
he
to
dresses the
know
way he
African
dresses. That's why he
American
talks the
history,
way he talks.
regardless of whether
That's
they're
why he
here or
listens
not.
to what he listens
Because
to. Because
African
he
American
understands our
history is
culture is
American
the most
history, and
impactful
everybody
culture
should know that.
on this planet. He knows that. He could have asked a friend. Everybody AMP knows that. That's why all of them are from different countries, but they all look like they from here. Because they know how powerful our country is and our culture is, and they know how powerful we are as a people. But it's always that weak ass excuse, and this is why I'm not with the whole conversation, because it's not genuine. You know that boy
It
know
is
Black history.
genuine.
He grew
Everybody
up in
needs to know
America. That
African
nigga know
American
Black history. He
history.
know Malcolm X
Everybody,
and
but
Martin Luther King.
African
He
American
knows
history
about our
is
plight.
is
That boy
American
knows about our
history.
plight. He knows our culture.
Great. So then, if
Just
he
like
knows it, then
many of
it's his
y'all already
responsibility to
do.
be right.
Just like
Yeah.
when you come over
No,
here,
actually, a lot of
go
people
to
don't.
school with us,
Actually, a
you
lot of people
experience the
don't.
same culture we do, you tether off of us, so y'all know. So now
I
you want to
literally,
talk
I
about
literally
devil
just
and
told you,
grown. Now
as
you
we
want to say,
all
oh, well,
know,
let's just come and have
a
a
lot
Ma'am,
of
conversation.
black
A
people in
ma'am,
conversation
America do
about
not know
what?
African
ma'am.
Her
American
ass got
history.
Wait,
no,
wait,
it's so
wait, wait,
clearly there.
Adiola.
The vitriol is
Please,
still there. What are we conversating about? What the
right.
fuck is
So
the point?
please,
What's the point of the conversation at that point? It's
right.
pointless. It's valueless because you're
This
not
is
coming
a
to the table being genuine and actually saying what you want, saying what you know, and how you actually feel about Black people, because you feel away. They all feel away. So just
Everybody
be
does not
honest
feel
with that.
away.
Don't make excuses if
Everybody
you
does
don't know
not feel
history.
away.
You know
so
history.
Everybody
Y'all
does
know
not feel
history.
away.
Y'all
so
get
Everybody does
real,
not feel
y'all
Adiola.
get
away.
real
Please let
arrogant when it
Zizi
comes
Just
to y'all
because
finish.
he
lawyers
has
and
a
doctors.
large
But when it comes
platform
to
and said
history,
something
everybody
ignorant does not
everybody know
mean that
that.
it applies to
That's
everybody.
bullshit,
Okay.
man.
Adiola, please don't call it African American history. It was Black history first, right?
Okay, Black history.
Thank you. And you're right. Black history is American history, but it's a distinction that has to be made, because alligator bait. Right? They don't teach us about that. They don't teach y'all about that. That's Black American history created by the white tea folks that they try to hide. And then when you say African American history, everybody is using that term so blanket, such a blanket, that they're identifying as African American, and we get lost in translation because here comes the Caribbean, here comes the Africans, and they're latching on, they're tethering on, and they're trying to tell their stories. They're trying to mix their migration story with our great migration and actually acting as if it's the same, when it's actually not. So I would have preferred you would have let Zizi get to her point than interrupting her, because she was quiet when you were talking. So there's a couple of things that's problematic, because when you want to insert the Caribbean and you're not Caribbean, that's a form of tethering to us, because it's like one lone Caribbean does not make the movement. Get it? And Stokely could be seen as problematic because Dr. King didn't even want to be called Black, but he waits until Dr. King goes away on a conference or something and starts using the term Black. So there's things that the Caribbean does that trespasses on our culture, that of our great leaders. But you wouldn't know because you wasn't raised by them, nor did you sit around them to hear the stories or pay attention to all the interviews and not just the ones that's highlighted by the white tea and others for a feel good.
Just to be clear, I had to research Black history on my own. That's not something that was ever
And we
taught to
have
Yeah,
to
me.
do the
Open
well, most
same in
Black
publicity,
people have to
Africa.
do that.
which is a majority Black community, at least time. Now, in terms of us disagreeing, I don't think that we disagree fundamentally on the outcome. I think we disagree on the approach. And so all I'm saying is I believe that Black American history is American history, and everybody needs to know that history, not just Africans. Because a part of the a reason why people have a lack of a reverence to it is because they don't know it. You're telling somebody who came from another country, who doesn't know anything about this country, they don't know anything about anything that your civil rights leaders done or your ancestors have done, and now you're telling them that they have an obligation and they don't have anything to connect it to. And I'm not even saying that it's your responsibility to teach it to them. All I'm just saying generally, like in the conversation, as we're trying to come to whatever the outcome is going to be, a part of that has to be that we discuss the fact that everybody needs to know Black American history. It's American history, period.
They do,
But I
and it's
will
their
say this,
responsibility. That's on them
but I
to
will say
learn it.
this, but here's the issue too, that it's not coming up now, but it's gonna come up later on. I want to point it out, is that using the term Black Black is a race, which means that everybody's also encompassed in that too. So as Black American people are looking for a term for the ethnicity, all I'm saying is that
We
it's
gotta
going to
look
be
for a
hard
term.
for
We
Black
got a
to
term.
work.
NBA is the term for our ethnic group.
Okay, but Black
Right.
includes everybody because Black is a race,
Hold
just how
on,
white
hold
Yeah,
is
on,
a
hold on,
race.
foundational
hold on.
Black
Stop
America
right there.
doesn't though.
Stop right
That's why
there.
we're specific. It's not just
So,
Black. It's
so
foundational Black American. So
right. And so now we have to emphasize the American. But when you say black to my generation, to my parents' generation, and even my kids, because I raised them, when they say the black community, we're not thinking about an African, right? Because for so many years, they
right.
said we're not black, we're Nigerian. We're not black,
They
we're
still saying
Haitian.
that.
We're
Some
not
of them.
black, we're Jamaican. We're not black, we Guyanese. We're not black. There's videos on my page of them saying, well, I'm not black. You know, I don't want to fake an accent. But ma'am, what you're saying is this is going to come up. You're late to the party. We've already discussed
Yeah.
it.
Well, in terms of people saying that they're not Black, just to be specific, it wasn't for some. It was definitely to be disparaging. For others, it's a term that they were not used on them before. In the same way, in Nigeria, we're not going to say hello Nigerian in Nigeria. You're usually just addressed by your tribe. It wasn't until we actually came to a place like America where we're like, oh, okay, you're from Nigeria, I'm from Nigeria. So I do think, yes, there are some people who said it in a way that it was actually used to be disparaging, but I do think so for other people it was just it was just straight ignorance because it's not a term that they grew up hearing.
Right. But you're telling that to a group of people who has always identified as Black. So that's not really our concern. That's for
Yeah,
you
but
to
but
confuse
all I'm saying
Negroes who
is
don't know you
a part of
Black
the
to figure
conversation.
out
But
that you Black and get
that's
on
why the
board.
conversation is
That ain't got nothing
important,
to do
right?
with us.
We
Black has
we
always been
Africans came
ours.
to this
So
country in the late '70s, and
again, this
quite
sounds
frankly,
like
we're
something you need
just
to be
now
speaking
having.
to your people. You need to talk to your people, not us. I think a
Right.
lot of y'all have the wrong idea. I understand you want to have a conversation. Have a
Well,
conversation with
well,
your
I do
people
all of my
first.
advocacy in the African
Then come over
American
here with
community.
the
I'm
with
sorry,
the
the
with the
Black
with your
American
right
community.
mind,
So
and then
I
we can
don't,
have a
I don't.
conversation.
They can go
But
ahead
y'all
and
not
have
in
their
your right mind.
conversations. I'm already at the places where we're having conversations about how we can advocate for Black Americans in the U.S. That's why
He is saying
that's why I
are
added that
black
to that this
Americans at the
conversation.
table? Because the last time we heard Africans advocating for us, we're a sixth region. And then nobody want to be that. So I
I'm
mean,
sorry,
maybe
what?
you're inserting
I'm sorry, I didn't
yourself
hear
because
that.
here's the next move,
I'm
and
sorry,
I'm
I
a
didn't hear
land,
that.
I'm a land, I'm a land. I don't care if you were born here, first generation, second generation. We don't want y'all having anything to do over governing us because you never get it right anyway.
Well, who's getting it right then?
Well, if you listen, it will be us. If you listen,
That's
maybe we
fine.
consider
That's
you an
fine. If you
ally.
put your,
But
just to
so
be very
when we
clear,
say foundational
hold on,
black American, ma'am, or the black community, we know it's always been us, ma'am. We were black before the 70s. Get it? So how could it ever be you?
I understand your frustration. However, all I'm saying is simply this. I'm asking who your leaders are. I have supported Black American.
Here we go
I
with the
have done a
leaders.
lot of fundraisers for Black American political candidates who have supported Black American initiatives. I have never been, oh, just because I'm Nigerian, I don't care about them. That's not how, even as my African
Do you
family,
know
that's not
whose
how I was
platform
raised.
you're on, ma'am? Do you know the man who's hosting this panel is actually an advocate, an activist?
And luckily I was on TikTok today and found him and was interested in having the conversation. All I'm saying is this: if you're going to decide that you want people to take an action, and again, I have absolutely no qualms with your frustrations at all, absolutely none. I agree with them. All I'm saying is there has to be space too for people to be able to grow and learn and understand what it is that you're looking for so that they can support it. It can't just be that, oh, because you're African,
What did we
I'm
do
upset with
between the
all of y'all.
1970s, before the 1970s? Did we need y'all?
I wasn't born in 1970, so I don't
Right.
know
No,
if
no,
it
no.
did.
But you took African
So,
American history. You took African American history. Before y'all started migrating here, which my ancestors and elders fought for, did we really need y'all?
I don't think that was.
I
Let's
asked the
say no.
question.
Let's say no. Let's say no.
Okay, good.
Let's
That's what
say
we
no.
want that to continue. We want y'all to
Right?
govern
Okay, but
yourselves and
now
don't
what
have
you're
no
saying is
input
you
because y'all
actually
not
want there
getting
to
it
be a
right.
fracture
That's
because what you're
fine.
saying now is
No,
if
we
Africans
just want
have
you
the
to focus on
opportunity
yourself.
to support Black American
When
people, you don't
Africans
want them to do
support
it. That's
us,
what you're saying.
we never benefit. When Africans support us, we become a sixth region that wants to tap into our
When
collective
did that
wealth
happen?
to benefit Africa. But ain't
I just want to be
nobody
clear, when
talking
did
about. One
Africans
minute, ma'am, so
support
I can land.
Black Americans
One
and
minute,
there
so
was
I
an
can
issue?
land. 1 minute, so I can land.
When they say they want to support us, they want us to be the sixth region, they want to tap into our collective worth, right? And ain't nothing and anything we've seen on in ink that's going to benefit the foundational Black American community here in America. It's all designed to help Africa, but they're the same ones, not all, but many, enough to be an issue that says your hoods are messed up. But let me tell you what else is in our community besides us. The immigrants, their businesses, their crime, their dirt. But we're the face of everything, right? And so we're asking, since it hasn't been going well in the past 60 years, I'm going to give it, we want them to leave us alone, and we want to focus on ourselves. That includes the leaders, those at the table. We want y'all to have a seat, to listen, to learn, not respond as you've been doing, and listen to us honestly, not to inject the Caribbeans who ain't even here to come up and defend themselves. Ma'am, you're Nigerian. Talk about the AU.
Okay,
I
so I
land.
just want to make sure that your conclusion here is Africans, regardless of what they have achieved and obtained in America, that they should not support Black
Let me
Americans,
jump
because
in. Let
that's
me hold
essentially what you
on.
were
Let
kind of
me
saying.
jump
Go
in.
Afro.
Let me jump in. Okay, and I've let you all. You discussed the conversation with the co-host and the mod here. Let me jump in. Because I've been noticing a lot and letting the conversation play. First off, when we talk about Kai Cenat, I use Kai Cenat as an example because he is well known. Kai Cenat is not a one-off. Kai Cenat is not the only one to say anything disparaging like that. It's not the first time we've heard it. We've heard it from many different people who are not of Kai Cenat's. I think he's Haitian, I believe, who's not of Kai Cenat's ethnicity. All right, I bought him up because when he said it, it happened to trend and go viral, and he's very well known, especially among people who are on TikTok. So that's why I bought him up. But Burna Boy has also done that. You've also had, and Burna Boy's Nigerian. Burna Boy's also said things like that. There's been also other people from the diaspora who have said things like that. All right, who have said disparaging things about us. But the thing is that, and it's not even about lack of knowing history. When you talk about every Black person should know Black history, as true as that is, there is a difference between knowing Black history and in respecting a culture. If we went to another place in Africa, we wouldn't know all of their history, but we would still feel the obligation to respect their culture. All right, that's the thing. We can't have a thing of, well, I give a pass or an exception to people who say, well, I don't know Black history, so therefore I shouldn't have to respect the culture. You know, there's a culture here, and that culture should be respected, whether you're aware of the intricate details of the history or not. Exactly. The same way Kai wouldn't go anywhere else and talk about anybody else's culture the way he has, or Born Boy, or other people have disparagingly talked about us, our culture, and our ethnic group. All right. So that's so I wanted to, that's why I brought up Kai Cenat. All right. To talk about the leaders necessarily, the conversation, and that's going to get into politics and stuff like we're this is not a representative. We're talking about an ethnicity that is being disrespected. All right, an ethnic group that's being disrespected. There is no leader of the ethnic group, just the same way Nigerians don't have the leader of the of Nigeria. I'm not talking about a politician. I'm talking about the leader and spokesman who speaks on behalf of all Nigerians. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in Africa, and it doesn't exist here. All right. What we are talking about is the conversation among yourselves about the lack of respect, the lack of obligation to show respect. All right. Because the thing is that even if you don't do it, and I'm going to say you don't do it because you said you've done work, and I'm not going to belittle that or disparage that. Okay. If you have done work, that's great. Because I don't know that to be true or not. So I'll take your word for that. But it might not be you. But the thing is that culturally speaking, the diaspora does not have the conversation to where they feel the obligation to show respect. The ones who do it, but the ones who don't get away with it. And there is no conversation or behavior to show respect and camaraderie and real allyship with us. All right. So this is why we're having the conversation as to what I think you asked. What is the result of the boycott going to be? The result of the boycott is going to be the fact that this is going to be a very serious wake up call for people who are African and people who are non FBA in general. Because the thing is that the conversation has been had several times over, and now we've understood the point where you all are not taking us serious. You're not taking us serious, and we're gonna have conversations till we're blue in the face. But until you guys take what we have to say serious, there's not going to be that respect. The same way you all take white people serious. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. They come from Africa. They take white folk very seriously. All right. They do not talk about them the way they talk about us. All right. And we are owed
Fair enough.
no less respect. We are owed way more. All right. We are owed nothing less than what everybody else is receiving. Everybody else gets. So
Fair enough.
because of that, this is the conversation is gotten to the point, is built up to the point, all right, where it's like, okay, every time we have an issue with you guys, it expressed the issue in a civil manner. It gets gaslit and we get told to shut up and we get told to turn the other cheek, just like Essence. When we had an issue with the Essence Festival, and we were like, hey, why is there Jambalaya versus Jollof? Why is there no Black American vendors? Why are y'all trying to say that it's all about Africa now? They told us we bought it so we can do what we want to do with it. Y'all need to stop complaining. They said that about Juneteenth, okay? Every time we say something, every time we express an issue with the diaspora, it gets gaslit and we get told to just shut up about it and move on. So now we're at this point where now some action needs to be taken place because we collectively are not being taken serious.
Now, I don't disagree with your point. I just want to say something quickly about Essence real quick. I think that the challenge with an organization that's that large is the reality is like when you brought up Burna Boy, for example. One, I didn't know that Burna Boy made disparaging comments, and I would say that the people that can check him are going to be other rappers or other African American people around him who could call him out on his stuff. Now, for Rich
And
Dennis
Nigerians, and
specifically,
Nigerians, and
fair
Nigerians.
enough. Those who have access to him, because if I could go up to him, I'll let him know. But when I talk about Essence specifically, Essence was white owned up until Rich bought it, and Rich is
Okay.
Liberian. Liberia was created by freed people that were enslaved. We all know that, and
Okay.
so Rich himself has financially invested himself in the community, right, supporting Essence. Now, in terms of production, we can that can be we can disagree on how the production came out, but he's also invested in several Black American
But
businesses
that's
and it
not the
helped them become
okay.
successful.
We're
No,
diverting
no,
from the
no, no, no,
conversation.
no. I'm bringing it back around, and so what I'm trying to say here is when you're saying that all the people are saying, "Oh, we bought you." They didn't buy Essence. Rich bought Essence, and Rich is the one who's investing in Black American businesses. So for me, it's one of those things where, yeah, people can come on TikTok and say whatever they want to say. They're not taking any action. They're not doing any work. They're not making any investments. But the people who are actually doing the work are the ones who are the ones getting the heat on behalf of everybody else. The man has invested billions of dollars into Black owned businesses and tried to make sure that they were successful. Now some rando off of TikTok is saying, well, we bought it. No, they didn't buy it.
No.
Rich bought it.
I expressed to you that was the straw that broke the camel's back. This is not one time situation, a one time thing. Okay, this is the straw because every time, and the point is not about Rich. The point is that every time we express an issue with the diaspora, whether that's from Burna Boy, whether that's from Tyler, whether that's from Kai Sanat, whether that's from Nicki Minaj, whether that's from the Carnival,
Biggie
whether that's from
Smalls.
Jorvette, whether that's with Michael B. Jordan, every time we express an issue with the diaspora, we get told we need to shut up and we need to let it go. Okay? Whether that's from bus, and we can ring off a list of names. Busta Rhymes, every time we say anything about the diaspora and about how we dislike something, we get told, hey, y'all need to be quiet, okay? Y'all need to let it go, and we get gaslit, and our complaints and grievances get swept under the rug and ignored. And now it's at this boiling point where we're done with that. So this is why the boycott is there. All right. Not even more so because of essence, but because of the response that we got from the African community in defense to what we're saying is a cultural erasure.
Understood. And my final comment, because I don't obviously don't, this has been a great
minute,
conversation.
one
Thank you
minute,
all for
ma'am.
engaging.
1 minute, ma'am. Because
Oh,
see, here you go inserting the Caribbean again, talking about Biggie Smalls. He was a tether who
I
stole
caught
his
that.
whole flow, right, from Notorious B1 from Mississippi. And I love Biggie. Was even calling him the king of New York, but he was a tether, ma'am. And so this is the problem when you bring up people as if, you know what I'm saying, this one, that one, this one, and you don't know the history.
I was
Stop.
naming the
Leave the
names along with
Caribbean
him.
alone.
It
Just leave
wasn't
the
it
Caribbean
wasn't an
alone and
indictment.
stick to
It wasn't
Burna
an
Boy.
indictment. He was naming names. I just added it. When he said
They
Nicki
don't want you
Minaj,
to
it just made me
add
think
because
Biggie
you
too. It
added the
wasn't.
wrong name.
It wasn't.
Ma'am,
I
please. Okay, your
I
final
see
Okay.
that there's
Okay.
some
comment. Go
issues
ahead.
there.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
ma'am. Go ahead.
my final comment it would simply be this: that obviously there's a lot to unpack here. Um, I do think that a part of whatever action that you all decide to take around, the boycott, I disagree that you all think, well, not you all, that someone specifically said that Africans and Caribbean people should not participate in the upliftment of the Black community. I do think that they should participate because they came to America and they got something based off of your ancestors. And as such, I do believe that they should participate. Now, in order to participate, your community has to determine, and I think that's obviously what's happening now in this conversation, to say, this is how we want y'all to participate. These are the type of things that we want you to do and support. I know myself, I'm literally starting an after school program for Black kids in Harlem. Like that's my money. I want to do it. I believe that we need to
From
have
New
it in our
Jersey.
communities. So I'm
Oh,
just
well,
saying that I think
simplify
that
it.
if we say that we do not want Africans and Caribbeans to advocate and to participate in supporting African American people, then it's basically kind of like you got something and you didn't do anything, and y'all aren't requiring your obligation. So
the
that's my final comment.
the first part about it is that our loyalties and allegiances need to line up before we give any instructions on what needs to happen. We have to have a common agenda. We need to come to a consensus on what the common agenda is, because the thing is that we have people who are advocates, like we have immigrants who are advocates, but their agenda is to other immigrant communities. Okay, that's the thing. So before we get to that space, let's not put the cart before the horse, because the thing is that we're realizing the fundamental issue is that our allegiances do not align. Okay, so that's what we're
Understood.
doing, because this is the circling of the wagon to get rid of that issue.
Understood. Thank you all so
All right,
much.
thank you.
Yeah, the trolls is getting better, man. I think these trolls is getting wiser. I'm not gonna lie to you because she was a damn troll. She was an anti-black
I'm not a
American
troll.
troll.
I'm a lawyer.
I thought you
Girl,
was
you know
gonna
what I'm talking
drop, but
about.
I'm
I'm not
glad you. I'm
trolling
glad you got a
anybody.
chance here. Let me get this off right
Look, you
quick.
can Google me. My
Let
name
me
is
get this off
Aviola.
right quick. She's giving me anti-black American troll because anybody that could, the fact that she came in the room and the first thing she said was, "Oh yeah, I did my African American studies," and I was like, "Whoa, they lied." First of all, who the fuck lied to you? And what lies was you believing? Because what it's saying to me was that whole spiel she just had was a dog whistle to say, yeah, before I got in close proximity to Black Americans and found out about their history, I was really against Black Americans. Honestly, I think she still is. I think I don't think none of what she was saying was really authentic. Let me say that. But I think what it is that she went to school.
What I said was literally authentic. I don't understand
Let me
why
get
you
this
would.
off. Girl, you didn't had a comment on. You better be lucky I'm leaving your ass up here. I could have dropped you. I just want to get this off in front of you. The point is,
Yeah, because
you're
I don't
getting
understand why you're
okay. All
disparaging
right,
me
you
when I'm
lose the
honest with
opportunity. You
you.
better
I'm
lose the
being
opportunity. I'm gonna
honest.
get this off.
Look,
I'm
if
gonna
you
get this
want to,
off. Okay, I'm going to get it off. You're right. Okay, she's giving me troll. You came in here. The first thing you said was, "Oh yeah, I went and found out about you Negroes' history," and I said they lied, and I just, oh my god, I knew better. well, what was the better that you was coming from? What was the ignorance that you was coming from? Because what it feels like is you're just as anti-black as Cash and that. And your ass knew he was anti-black, talking about, I don't follow ignorance. I didn't hear anything about it. You knew about what that Negro said.
About
You
that
knew
riot
about what he
she
said.
almost caused in New York, right?
Come on, she knows. So you're hiding behind this. Oh well, no,
About the
I studied
flag,
African
the
American
Haitian
history, so
flag.
I can't be anti-black, and I'm an ally. What do you guys? We just want to support. When really, what it is that you want to come in and take over. You're practicing the same thing that we're exposing. You're trying to come into our spaces and take over, and you really give me that when somebody asks you what you are, you just say black. That's why you had a problem with this. Well, everybody identifies as black. Black is everything. No, you're not a foundational black American, but you're cosplaying is one, and you got your ass up here thinking you could be slick, like, oh yeah, I'm just an ally, but look, no, everybody black, but look, no, they're not anti-black, they're just ignorant. So you're making excuses for the very things that you're trying to cover up for. You are the very thing that we're trying to expose and go against. But you're up here cosplaying, you're a troll. These trolls is getting better. I don't want to hear that shit, man. She was on board from the beginning, from the jump. From the jump.
Yeah, I agree with Zizi. Some statements was problematic. The fact that she tried to diminish her people's part and the AU. The AU was a perfect thing to address, and here she goes, ushering in the Caribbean, simply because she's from New York, right? Well, she was born here or migrated here, but was an enslaved population that built New York. So we got to stop the erasure on that front too. And when we ask, don't speak for us, that's what we mean, right? Because there are foundational Black American activists. The American freedmen come to mind too, the ones at the reparations meeting, which you're probably watching anyway to see how you can tether on your clients or something, or yourself. Watch that and see who you can reach out to, so they can speak for foundational Black Americans. Because this all we Black and we migrated here, and this is the most diverse city. Ma'am, you're causing an erasure. And you wasn't even trying to listen to learn or understand. You just were trying to input on why you could or should speak on some things. And you use being a lawyer to be that. And that's where the problem lies too.
She even tried to cover it up with the essence thing. Oh, he's investing in black businesses, so the people that's doing the work are just going to be the ones that's getting criticized the most because they're putting in the work, and you're ignoring the whole point of what Black Americans' problem was with Essence Festival. You're not.
Speak on the cease and desist, y'all, because when Essence Fest, so Essence Fest is just coming to a lot of people's attention. But I actually had the pleasure of knowing a New Orleanians content creator from YouTube who was telling us in 2023, when Essence Fest was taking over, they issued a cease and desist to the small businesses there. When everybody knows when Essence Fest comes into town, the local businesses are allowed to showcase their products and do their work. But the Africans, I think they're from Liberia or something, when they came in, they didn't want all of that. So they came in disrespecting the foundational American population or Black American population there in New Orleans. And that's another issue. So when you're bringing up, he's trying to invest, make sure you do all your research, because it's always that Black immigrants overstepping boundaries just because they're melanated like us. And that's the issue too.
The point is that, and as I expressed, it's bigger than Essence Fest. This is not a situation where and this is why I keep bringing up these receipts, okay? And I keep bringing up, no, it's not just Kai Cenat, it's also Burna Boy, it's also Tyler, it's also them, it's also him, it's also her, because the point is that, and what I realize what they have been doing is they will screen record a question, and they'll come up and they'll be all like, well, I just don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. And then they'll take that and then they'll twist the narrative and make it seem as if we don't know what we're talking about. And this is a movement based out of hatred or anger versus a movement based off of advocacy for Black Americans.
Right.
Which is why I keep bringing up several different receipts. It's not just Essence. I also brought up Juneteenth. It's not just that. It's bigger than Rich's cultural erasure. It was the response by the African community when we had an issue. I also brought up Michael B. Jordan. I brought up several different times. Every time we have an issue, and we voice our issue with anybody for any reason, it becomes a thing of, well, y'all need to let that go. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, ignore it. Y'all tripping. And I'm doing this to let you guys understand, for the audience. We got over 200, almost 300 people listening. For the audience to understand, the boycott is not an overreaction, because it was not our first reaction. Our first reaction and our first response was not to boycott everybody, okay? Our first response was to voice our issue, and kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And every single time that was ignored, it was gaslit, and we were not taken serious. Now, because of the boycott being a thing, now people are starting to wake up and smell the coffee, like, oh, these people are not playing games. All right. Let's get to Black Royal Beauty.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am good. Well, I'm happy to be here. Let me say that. I'm from California, born and raised. Parents was from Louisiana. I'm here, foundational Black. And I have been on quite a few panels because I came into the party late. I didn't even know about any of this because I haven't had much time to really be online. So when I got online and saw what was going on, I wasn't mad at it, just because of a lot of experiences that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So me going onto the panels, it was a lot of Africans hosting the panels. So I was trying to figure out what was going on. And I know I'm listening, and they're saying that they want to get to the bottom of things and they want to know, what can be done. But I don't think they really do, because I was like, okay, what can we do to get to the bottom of the things? And then they were, it was attack mode. Like, you guys are just ignorant. All of you guys, you FBAs. And then I'm slow because I'm like, well, what's FBA? So I'm not knowing nothing. And, so somebody did explain that to me. So I'm like, okay, so what is wrong with that? And then it just came backwards and forwards. Well, aren't you African? And I just don't understand, what's the need to say, because I never walked around saying, oh, I'm African American. I've always said I'm Black. So I've never understood what the need to say it was. I guess I'm still don't know where all of this really kicked off at, and would like a clear understanding of it. But I'm definitely, I've been through it. Living in California, it's a lot of Nigerians there. And I can say I'm married to a Nigerian. And I've been through hell with that family. I've been through hell. Like, the daddy don't like me, the mama don't like me. Like, I've really been through hell, Okay. And it's difficult to even explain to my daughter when she's around and I'm arguing with her grandparents and everything else, because, I'm disrespectful if I tell them they're wrong for the way that they treat me or the way that they speak about us. And it's like, my whole thing is, if we're so negative and if we're not liked, then why is everybody wanting to come here? That's what everybody have a lot of negative things to say about us. And then where do they get, we have no culture? I don't know. This whole thing is frustrating. I don't know where it come from, but when I say I'm so with it, I am so with it. But I would like a clear understanding of how this even all kicked off.
The thing is that, and this stems from when they first started coming over here. Okay, this stems from right after the civil rights movement, because we used to have this idea of them and this vision of them. We had this idea of them in our minds that we are starting to realize is not the accurate depiction of them, and is not an accurate representation of them. All right, when they first started coming over here, we all thought, because of our shared race, that we all would have the same agenda. Now we're realizing that their agendas are not our agendas, to put it very shortly. All right, we're realizing that economically, politically, and socially, that they are doing what is in their best interest, even if that comes in spite of what is in our best interest. So because they understand that reparations, they wouldn't receive reparations, they are deliberately blocking reparations. Okay, Brian Donalds openly admitted that he's not going to get reparations, so he don't want nobody to get reparations. All right, and we have other people, I think, who are Caribbean as well, other tethers who are on reparations panels, creating obstacles for us to get reparations. All right, so that goes into the political aspect of it. which
Okay,
also
so when
ties
you
into
say
the social
reparations,
aspect.
they want reparations for what our ancestors went through.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them.
Oh,
And and if they say that they are not owed that, they don't want us to get it. All right,
oh,
and we're starting to realize that with damn panels in New York and Los Angeles, it, in the federal government as well too. You had Coleman Hughes and Candace Owens, people who are non-FBA. They got on a panel and was speaking against reparations. All right, so they're politically becoming not even liabilities, they're politically becoming opposition. They're political opposition to what's in our best interest. Westmore, that's another one. They're political opposition. They're economics, okay? They do not practice group economics the way Dr. Claude Anderson had preached, where I shop with you shop with me. It's been I shop with you, and then I keep the money in my community. That's what they've been doing. They've practiced very similar economic practices the way Asians have always done. All right, where yeah, I can put my business in your neighborhood, but I'm not going to support any of your businesses. All right, and you better not put your businesses in my neighborhood. So they practice very similar economic behavior that the Asians do. So that's politically, okay. I express that. That's economically, and then you also have the social aspect where we talk about Kai Sanat, okay, where you talk about Kai Cenat saying that we don't have a culture, and a lot of other tethers saying we don't have a culture or that we owe them something. They come over here and they do better than us. Like there was another woman, oh, we come over here, we do better than y'all. We don't need y'all. Not paying any homage or recognition to the sacrifice. Okay, if Kai Cenat's not African, Burna Boy will do till Kai Cenat becomes African. Okay, because Burna Boy has said a very similar thing. Okay, Busta Rhymes is also Caribbean, and he said things like that. Or when they talk about our culture and try to strip us from the culture to put themselves in there. For instance, hip hop is a good example of that. Hip hop is our culture, our music genre, and we're starting to see a lot of them try to strip us from that and start putting themselves in there by giving the credit to Cool Herc and stuff like that. All right, and we're starting to see the ethnic cleansing that they're trying to practice with things like Juneteenth, with things like hip hop. Now you got Haitians saying that they fought in the revolution and that we owe them something or whatever the case is, and how they were a much bigger factor. So we're starting to see really an ethnic cleansing and an attack coming from the diaspora. So that even goes into the social aspect. All right. So these are the things that we're starting to realize, like, hey, these people are a problem. These people are causing a problem. And the conversation is not leading anywhere. It's not we keep having the conversation and we're realizing that the needle isn't moving. The fact that we're not even a week into August and we're starting to see the conversation shift now, because you don't see them talking too crazy now. They're a little, some of them are saying some stuff, but a lot of the bragging and puffing their chest out, you seen them starting to calm that down now. All right. So enough of them is starting to get it, because now action is being taken, and now they're starting to realize that we can move past a conversation and we can move into an action phase, which is what we're in right now. Now the issue is every time we have an African come up, they say, well, let's get back to talking. That's the problem. Let's get back to talking and talking and talking and talking to get us off of what we're doing now. That's why we're having this conversation.
okay.
No monto.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's basic, you got it, bro.
Real fast. These same people who are speaking against foundational Black American reparations aren't speaking against CARICOM, who has 15 Caribbean nations, I believe, under their belt, and an alliance with the AU and some Pan-African organizations. Nobody is speaking against those people not going up for reparations. In fact, they went to the UN in April of 2025, but the Brits said no to direct payments, and that's when they conveniently came to New York, demanding to be on our claim. The Caribbeans, because the Latinos were always there watching. See how that works? Everybody wants to tether on to us. Everybody has something to say about us. Everybody's being polled on what a foundational Black American is or is not entitled to, but ain't nobody speaking against their movements, not even foundational Black Americans, because we don't get down like that. It amazes me that they do this to us. But I'm over that. I'm with the boycott. It still continues just like the marathon Afro Island.
All right. Okay. Let's get Zizi, did you want to add something as to
No,
the explanation?
oh,
No?
it's all right. Go ahead.
All right. Let's get to basic.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, so all I want to say is that it's too late. You know, we got these people coming in here talking about a solution. It's way too late for a solution now. We've already decided that we're delineating and we're doing what we're doing. So all this peace talk, that's over with. I can tell y'all that right now. It's enough of our people that I know in real life that's tired of Africans, especially Africans. I know y'all like to act naive and y'all like to act like y'all are unaware that y'all do a lot of disrespectful stuff and y'all are so oblivious to people's experience of y'all. But y'all are gonna learn the hard way. I'll just tell you that. And y'all can stop trying to ask us what the solution is. If y'all were a solution based people and y'all want to act like our big brother so bad, why don't y'all have any solutions to any problems? Y'all never have a solution. You don't have a solution to what's going on in your homeland. So you run over here, you mess up relationships over here, and then you want to ask us how to fix it. Y'all about to be on your own. Caribbeans too, you know what I'm saying? Like Caribbeans are not as bad as Africans in my experience, but y'all, I think a lot of y'all play both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? Like one day y'all cool, next day y'all talking crazy, and y'all been like that since the early '60s. That's documented too. That you know, there's been this whole anti-Black American thing with the Caribbeans. I don't know the reason for it, but they for some reason don't like Black Americans either. But overall, I think Black Americans should stick to what we said we're going to do, which is delineate, because they're still hung up on this whole one race thing. And the biggest issue that I have with that is y'all don't believe in a one race unity because it's nowhere present in Africa. So it's y'all are literally trying to gaslight and trying to finesse us because you don't have an example of Africans exhibiting this one race theory that y'all are talking about. Black Americans are the ones who tried that for over 60 years now, and y'all haven't done anything. It's always been us. We've always spearheaded it. We've always put in the most work. We've lost the most lives. It's been us. And you got these people coming up here and they want to tell us about how it was a couple of Africans or a couple of Caribbeans that helped. Yeah, it was just a couple of y'all because most of y'all are cowards. Y'all sit on the sidelines. Y'all don't put in no work. And that's what y'all doing now. Y'all didn't put in no work in your homeland, and you run over here and you want to eat off the people who put in the work, and it's over with. So, you know, I know it's a lot of Black Americans, especially in the Pan African community, who got a soft heart for y'all, but it's a lot of us who don't. You know what I'm saying? So y'all not finna come back around here and think, you know, it's finna be all good. It's not. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in about 20 years or something like that, we can come back to the table and talk about it. But no time soon. Like it ain't no. You know, we can be cordial, we can be respectful, but y'all ain't finna be in our business. You just had this chick up here talking about what she do in the Black community. No, you're not. I don't believe her 1 minute. I'm out here. It's some you know what I'm saying? I do work in the community. I don't see no Africans, no Caribbeans getting no work done. They don't believe in no grassroots doing nothing. They want to show up when the work is done. That's what these people do. And they be scamming too. Like y'all do a lot of little scams and schemes too. I be seeing y'all folks out here, y'all be doing all types of scams. If you try to get people fired from these jobs, like y'all are very crooked people. And I know y'all gonna say that's hate, but guess what? We can prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like we can actually prove a lot of this stuff that y'all be doing. Y'all don't like to hear it though. So y'all come up here and you talk about, oh well, I'm not like them. I'm not like them. I don't care if you're not like them. Those your people. Y'all fly these flags. So if you're gonna fly your flag, then go be with your people. Because when y'all generalize us, you guess what? I'm still gonna roll with my people. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad, I'm riding with my people. Y'all don't have that type of loyalty though. Y'all like to throw your people away. That's why y'all ran from Africa while your people over there suffering because y'all a bunch of cowards. Y'all a bunch of cowards. You think I would leave my country and my people is over here getting trafficked and doing all this other stuff to my people? You think I would leave? Nah, because we ain't the same. We not the same. Y'all a bunch of cowards. Y'all leave y'all people. Y'all come over here and do whatever y'all claim y'all doing and try to boast about it like, oh, look at us. We some doctors or we doing better than the black Americans. But you can't show us nothing that you doing for your people back home because y'all a bunch of cowards. Y'all don't care about y'all people. And if you don't care about your people, you can't care about us. So nah, I don't want no unity with these people until you can show us that you care about your own people. You cannot convince me that you care about us. That's all I got to say.
Oh, Zizi, do y'all find it funny that I just finished speaking before Adiola showed up and I said, they're conveniently all doctors. Where's the lawyers? And here she comes. I'm a lawyer. You know, okay. Listen, I wish me and all FBA in this room had $1 million. Let's see how strong my manifestation skills are. Because the moment I said, where are their lawyers? Here she comes. Okay. We want $1 million too. I land.
Yeah, speaking into existence, BX. Speaking into existence.
Hey.
All right. Real quick before we get to striving, before we get to him, I want to say, as far as the conversation is concerned, we are people who have had, and when people talk about, well, we need a conversation, we need a conversation, we need a conversation, that becomes a thing of never getting anything done. That's the thing. The conversation, and because I've asked multiple times, okay, what would you suggest we do? And then they say, okay, well, we need to talk. Well, you all have admitted, they've admitted they need to talk amongst themselves. All right. They're coming from cultures of disunity. And the thing is that we have understood that now. This is what our image of them has changed. It's just what it is. We used to have this higher than thou image of Africa and of African people. And that was our way of fighting off the stereotypes that white supremacy had put on them. But now that we've interacted with them for so long, now we can actually see enough of the reality to understand exactly where they're coming from. Enough of them are coming from. So because of that, we have to have a sense of realism as to where we need to go now. All right. So let's get to striving.
Just wanted to come on and say, first off, I completely agree with the sentiments that ZZ was saying when she was just saying that like when these people come on here and they try to sound nice, they come on here and they try to use all these little words like just like you was just saying about unity and all of these things, and it's really disingenuous. Even I want to touch on when this thing about when the girl, the Nigerian lawyer chick was on here talking and she said something about how they was over here helping during the civil rights movement,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not true. And even when you find Caribbeans and Africans among us, they're outliers. That's not the norm. Because even there's a book written by Candace Y. Smith called The Black Mosaic. And in this book, she was talking about how when Black Americans was being discriminated for employment up there in New York, when these jobs was had signs up talking about how they don't hire Negroes, you had Caribbeans going around saying, "Hey, I'm West Indian. I'm not a Negro. Give me a job." So they wasn't out there protesting like, "Hey, give us rights and all these things like that." And even with Stokely Carmichael's mother didn't even want him to even be involved in all that. And then to BX's point, Stokely Carmichael also was doing a lot of things that Martin Luther King did not like. And what I've come to realize is that when you really study Stokely Carmichael, but these people, and you see these people out here now. When there's an incident and you see these black militants show up with guns and all that, that's really that's really some nefarious acting going on there, because what these individuals do is they come around us to radicalize us, to portray to the media that it's a radical element
Mm-hmm.
within our organizations to justify them using extreme force. So they're really a detriment. Even when you look at Stokely Carmichael, that was really a what he brought wasn't even necessarily a positive. And then even if you account him, the fact that you have so many others that's doing, even when you find people who are Caribbean or African who may be an activist, the fact that you got so many of their people who are not, who mentality is totally opposite of them, takes away from that, because you just one person can't make a difference. The fact that so many of y'all are the opposite way,
Mm-hmm.
the majority is what's making the impact. So to ZZ's point, your conversations should really be to your own people. When you see these Nigerians do these little interviews, they talk about how their parents was telling them this is don't hang around us. Those are the people who they need to be talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But like y'all was saying, the fact that they not having these conversations with their own people just shows that they're not really serious about nothing. It's about how can I how can I get these black Americans to lower their guard so that we can just get back to business as usual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
So
want to return to the status quo, and I want everybody to understand. We've had a lot of people in here the entire time. Had a lot of people in here the entire time. Um, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for a fact I've been doing this for well over 5 years now. I've been doing this for over 5 years on YouTube. ZZ's also been on YouTube over 5 years. BX has also been doing advocacy work and journalists and stuff like that for over 5 years. So we are experienced as far as that's concerned when it comes to dealing with pushback and things like that. All right. They come up and they have kind of the same energy in the talking points of white folk, where they come up like, hey, well, there should be unity. We're all children of Jesus, and my mom marched with Dr. King, and I don't understand. They all do that. The Hispanics do that as well too. Oh, what about the black and brown? And we were working together for generations. Well, I don't understand. Yeah, we have a few bad apples, but for the most part, Asians do that too. Oh well, you got on we black and Asian. What about Bruce Lee? Come on now, and they always do that. Okay. And this is a way, and the reason why we talk through it is because what they try to do is they come up disingenuously bringing up unity as a way, because they expect us to just shut it down, and then they'll take that sound bite and they'll take that clip, because I'm starting to see clips of me speaking and lives and stuff like that all over TikTok. I'm not gonna go too far with that, but they'll take that and not even TikTok, YouTube, a lot with YouTube. People take these lives and they put it on different YouTube channels. So what they are doing with that, and they're saying like, do you see how xenophobic they are? I came there talking about unity, and they called me an African booty scratcher and told me to go back to the jungle. And I just wanted to spread love, and they were so hateful and radical and all of this stuff. And that is what they're trying to do, so they can paint the narrative that what we're doing is xenophobic, radical, hateful, and irrational. All right. So this is why I'm saying, and I give so many different examples to verify our stance on these issues. So nobody can say we're being radical, xenophobic, hateful, or irrational. We have decades of receipts. So people can't bring that up. So this is what stops them from being able to twist the narrative. And this is something that Gotta be honest, this is something that white people have consistently done since the civil rights movement. They were trying to make Dr. King out to be some radical, Malcolm X to be some radical, the Black Panthers to be some radicals. You know what I'm saying? They've always done that.
I just want to answer one last thing to what the Nigerian lawyer had said when she asked what do we expect the outcome to be. I'm gonna speak for myself. What I want the outcome to be is I want there to be a total delineation. I don't they shouldn't be anywhere in our business at all. Just like they get the white folk treatment from, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, some of y'all might be cool and all this and that, but when it comes for us to handle our own business or anything like that, these people need to be on the outside while we in the house taking care of taking care of whatever it is that we have to take care of. So, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop it there.
All right. Let me see. Thank you. Let's get to the real man energy.
Hey, what's going on, Alpha? What's going on, BX? ZZ, I love what y'all doing. I would just like to take a little minute to address all these foreigners that like to troll and be in our lives and watch and all this. There's really nothing you can say or do that's going to stop delineation. Your fate has been sealed. We watched y'all for decades infiltrate our institutions, get in political positions, only do things for your people, at the same time taking resource from our people. And then you get online and you talk crazy because you thought you was under the protection of racist white tea people that you've been in lockstep with. So at this point, we have come to the conclusion that the best solution is to get you out of our circle, period. That's the best solution. So we're not interested in allies. We're not interested in people of color. We're not interested in coalitions or anything like that because it has proven and shown a track record of not working. Even J. Edgar Hoover, the evil man, he said the greatest threat to America is black unity, not minorities, not coalitions, not allyships, none of that. Black unity. So I feel like it's time to get back to what has been proven and has shown the track record of working, which is fighting and protecting ourselves instead of investing into these allyships that don't profit no dang nobody. That's the best way to go. Anything else is a waste of time, and for whatever else been going on, what I'm saying? I'm glad that they pissed off our dang women because now our women are going to teach our children. So our children don't be getting exploited and taken advantage of and lied to and all this stuff. So it's a beautiful thing when you got FBA men and women lockstep with each other. Now you can't stop us. Y'all took advantage of our ancestors. Y'all tried to pretend like y'all were their buddies. And y'all, at the same time was backstabbing them, envious and them behind their back. And that's okay. That's cool. Now you're introduced to a new generation. We don't care what you think. We don't care how you feel. We don't care what you want. We don't care how y'all link up because the end result is the same. Delineation. We're going to put you in a position to where no matter what you think and feel, you will have no power or authority or be able to affect us in any way. That's the goal. So if y'all want to know what the goal is to get you out of the paint. You are no different than white people. You're a matter of fact, you're one and the same by your actions. You can get on here and say whatever you want about how you're cool with a couple of FBAs or whatever the case may be. But when you get in a position of power, you show who you really are. So guess what? Now we're going to show you who we really are, and we're going to get you out of the paint. And so you can feel how you want to feel on the sideline. You can think what you want to think on the sideline. But guess what? You will never be in another position again to dictate our dang old future. But again, BX, ZZ, keep doing what y'all doing because they can't stop what y'all doing. All the gaslighting in the world is not going to help them. Stitching videos is not going to help them. This is our time. It's over. This is the Black Renaissance. This is the rebuilding phase. It's over. There's nothing they can do. The best thing they can do is shut up, stay out of our way, pack their shit and go home. That's the best thing they could do. You want to help us? That's what you do. Shut the hell up, pack your shit up, and go home. There's nothing you can cheat us. You can't help us fight nothing because you don't have a record of fighting. So at this point, you are just in the way. At this dang old point. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. That's how majority of us feel about it. We don't even understand why y'all even come in our lives anymore. Y'all never had nothing smart to say, nothing to add to nothing. All you are is just a distraction to go back and forth with to keep us from building. Actually, Alpha is being nice, just even letting y'all even come on and saying something. I wouldn't even let you do that. Y'all has to be on punishment in the corner.
Afro, not Alpha.
I'm sorry, Afro, my bad. But
Yeah.
he's being nice, just letting y'all do that. He shouldn't even
Yeah.
let y'all come on here because y'all don't have nothing to say. Y'all have said enough these past 50, 60 years. But I'm sorry, I'm gonna land my dang old plane. BX, keep doing your thing. ZZ, keep doing your thing. Afro, keep doing your thing. And shout out to the FBA. And it's a wrap, man.
Mhm.
It's a wrap.
Thank you. He just brought a new energy in. You know what I'm saying, Afro? And you got that look like we've been up here for a couple of hours. And
You already know the look I give.
yeah,
You already know.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
let me make this abundantly clear. All right. And this is something that we know about our history and our culture, right? Narratives are very important. The narrative of what we do and our resistance is very important. Um, this goes all the way back to Frederick Douglass. He understand that the narrative of black empowerment is important. Frederick Douglass understood that. Um, Malcolm X understood that. The Nation of Islam understood that. Dr. King understood that. The Black Panthers understood that. Ida B. Wells, Rosa Parks. Everybody understands that the narrative of black empowerment is detrimental. Okay, it's not detrimental. Is imperative to where the movement goes. All right. So all of the times they try to make it seem like black empowerment is really something negative. So it takes a lot of patience. It does. You all really don't understand. Plus, off, and I've been through a lot like this week, honestly, and I'm kind of really just over it. But I'm stomaching that because I understand that this is what changes and builds a better community. I'm pushing past the fact that I was irritated because I understand that this is what it takes to bring about the positive result we're trying to get. All right. Because we have to understand the narrative. Notice they keep coming up here trying to make it seem like, first off, they don't know anything. And what they're trying to get us to do is to get frustrated with them and kick them off. And then they're going to twist the narrative into, well, you see, I want to have a conversation with them. And then next thing you know, they just hate me because they're really Trump supporters and they're really MAGA, alt-right, separate. That's what they're trying to do. And their issue is when they talk to me, they don't get that far. They really don't get that far. Because I know how important the narrative is. But now that doesn't mean I'm going to sit up there and let you grandstand, though. But yeah, yeah, that doesn't mean that. Let's get to Masty. Masty.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. I just need, I mean, the consequence. I
Where
mean,
are you from?
I'm from Kenya.
Okay. Yeah, a few Kenyans up here today. Okay.
Well, I mean, do you think the government will stay and then let this happen? Because there
Let
might
what
be,
happen?
yeah, a few boycott. There might be a bloodshed. You know that.
No, there won't be. No, there won't be. This is not Kenya.
No, I'm gonna tell you now because we got so many tribes in Kenya. It's a bloodshed. Look at your face now. It's gonna be tough. You might be seeing this is easy. It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna tell you.
Where's the violence gonna come from? Who's gonna bring about violence?
Okay, you come to the business with the African people. I mean, so they're not gonna stay there because they got so many families they feed.
Okay, let me ask you again. Who's
Yeah.
going to bring about violence? Because if there's going to be bloodshed, someone needs to bring violence. So who is going to bring about violence in this situation?
You guys boycotting. You just look at.
Is boycotting
Boycotting
violent?
is not bloodshed.
Is
Oh
boycotting
yeah.
violent? Because that's not nobody's advocating for violence.
Oh, listen to me,
So
man.
are you saying that Kenyans or Africans are going to respond violently? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you come to his business, what do you think is gonna happen?
Well, so you're saying that
Yeah.
Africans will respond to Black Americans violently
Oh yeah,
if we do not support
absolutely,
them.
definitely. It happens to everywhere in the world. This
Just let them
violence.
talk. That's all you got to do is let them talk sometimes. All right.
All right. What do you do that? The government? Do you think the government will say? I mean, it's yeah. Okay, let it happen. This
No,
thing is.
but let me ask you. No, why would Africans respond violently?
Oh, you come to his business, his family. What are you talking about? You
Well, if we're
boycott?
boycotting, we're not
Yeah,
going to your business, and we're not going to your business if we're boycotting. You said
yeah.
that the response to the boycott will be violence, and then you're saying that's coming from Africans.
Do you know how
So
many?
how are if we're not coming to your business, are you saying you're going to respond violently?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna tell you
Okay,
now.
so how are you? Okay, so it's not we're not bothering you if we're not coming to your business. So you're saying because we're not supporting your business, there's going to be a violent response.
No, no, no,
And
no,
I,
no,
I,
no,
I
no,
notice I
no,
keep I
no,
keep
no,
saying
no,
that,
no.
so
Listen
I
to
keep
me.
saying it.
Listen to me. I
Okay,
mean, you know how many families in the household? Those families that are managed by his business. If you
okay.
just come with his business, do you think he's gonna stay home and let you do what you're doing? No, it's not gonna happen.
So what? So okay. So if they're not gonna let us do what we're doing, what are they gonna do? If we decide to keep on the boycott, what are they gonna do?
Have you ever seen that how these violences happen?
Oh, baby,
No,
you in
no. I'm
America.
asking
You in
because I'm.
America. You
Hold
ain't
on,
finna
everybody,
shed no
stop.
blood here.
Everybody. Let's mute up. Just me and him. I don't know what is going to happen. I want you to explain to me if we continue the boycott, what is the violent result that Africans are going to have? Response, I mean.
Okay, let me respond to that. Do you
Uh-huh.
think? I mean, you remember that I forgot the guy from Minnesota, that the black guy, the police.
George
He
Floyd, yeah.
yeah, you're right. So when that happened, what happened? Do you remember what happened? Everybody come out and burn out at everything, the store and everything. Then,
Okay.
do you know how many people killed then during that time?
No, there,
Oh,
none of
so
that stuff. There was some property damage, and that was
oh
it.
yeah, the property damage. Who was hurt
Well,
at
no,
that
no, no.
time?
We're not talking about George Floyd. We're talking about
I'm,
the
I'm gonna
boycott.
tell you that how violent I mean happen. You know what I mean? It's not just you think that it gets too smoothly to the point that you are thinking that, oh, okay, oh, we're gonna go boycotting, and then those people is gonna stay and watch you what you're doing. They're not gonna stay there what you're doing. So you're gonna be fighting bloodshed. The government will not just tolerate that kind of stuff. They're gonna come after you. What happened? Because you see how the world right now. The world is just a nuclear power right now fighting each other. Peoples. The
But let's
government.
not let's not talk about geopolitics. Let's talk about America.
You have to
So
think
you
the
feel
consequence.
so you
You
feel
have to.
that hold on, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You feel that if you had a store and let's say you had a braiding shop and you had Black Americans who stopped supporting,
Not
you're
stop
going
support.
to you're saying if an African had a braiding shop and Black Americans stopped supporting that braiding shop, do you feel like the African should then go out and seek violence against the Black American? Is that what you're saying?
Explain what is that? Just like because stop supporting. You not maybe you might.
Stop going and shopping and buying at the store. So do you think if we stop going shopping and buying at the African stores that you guys will respond violently?
No, 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 no. That's the
That is
two
what you've
different.
been saying.
No, that's two different things. Because when you boycott, what are you gonna do? Let's say he open up his business, you're gonna say, "Oh, shut down this business because we are boycotting." So you're
Hmm.
not gonna open. You're not gonna do anything. It's two separate things. If you say that, okay, I'm not gonna buy anything from you, that is good. There's no bloodshed. There's no anything. But if you start doing that, oh, because we call boycott, but still you open your store, you still making business. We're not like, we're not let up in that thing. So he not gonna say, oh, okay, because you say so.
Okay,
No.
because I'm not really getting what you're saying. You kind of all over the place. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
clear.
be. You're all over the place. Where are you from again?
I said from Kenya,
How long? How long have you been in the states?
20 years.
You've been in the states for 20 years. What state do you live in the states?
It don't matter the state. What are you talking about?
No, because your
Just
accent.
come to the
Now
point.
no, the
Come to
reason,
the
sir,
point.
sir, hold on,
Come.
sir, stop. Because we've had multiple Kenyans on today, and a lot of people are saying that your accent, and I've been engaging in this conversation because the only reason why is because the boycott, even though it's the African disrespect is the reason for that, the boycott is about every immigrant demographic. All right. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. Your accent doesn't sound Kenyan.
Well, whatever
You
you say.
sound,
For sure.
hold on, brother, hold on, sir. You sound closer to having a Middle Eastern accent, to be very honest, and you don't have a picture up.
What's your point?
So
What's
that's
your
what I'm
point?
getting. But
What's
you're
your
saying
point?
Kenyan, and I think, hold on, it sounds as if you're saying that just so you can have a conversation in this, because a lot of Arabs also feel that there's going to be a ripple effect on them.
Exactly.
Oh, so okay, so you as an Arab, you feel like there's going to be a ripple
It
effect on
doesn't
you.
matter. I'm Arab or Kenyan, whatever it is. It
No,
does
okay,
matter. The
okay. If you're
consequence.
say, hold on, doesn't matter.
Oh,
Say
no,
that
no, no.
again. So
The
say,
consequence. You have to watch the consequence. What's gonna happen? Yeah,
hold
I'm not
on.
letting
Wait a
it happen.
second. Wait a second. Wait a second. You said it doesn't matter if you're Kenyan or what?
No, no. I'm gonna tell you now again. I mean, you have to watch the consequence? What's gonna happen? That's what I'm telling you.
Okay,
And the
let me
consequence
let
is
you know
not.
something. Let me let you know something.
It's not gonna
Okay,
stop
because
right
the
there.
thing is
It's
that
not gonna
I
stop.
want
I'm
you
gonna
guys
tell
to
you.
understand.
But the
I've been
government
around
will
Arabs.
not
Be
just, oh,
quiet,
okay,
dude. Be
tear
quiet.
apart
Okay, be
the
quiet.
bloodshed. I'm gonna tell
That's
you.
enough. That's enough of DJ Khaled. All right, we're done with him. All right, I want y'all to understand something. This boycott, this boycott is not just about no Africans in the Caribbean. This is about everybody. Don't none of these businesses deserve our support. Not a single one of them. Not one. Not the Arabs, not the Indians, not the Hispanic. None of them deserve that. Okay? Talking about there's going to be some bloodshed and there's going to be violence and do you know how many people live in the house or whatever the case is? This is not Saudi Arabia. This is not whatever Arab country you're talking about. And you got black folk out here tripping about what's going on in Palestine and Gaza. And they come over here talking about if you don't support my business, there's gonna be some bloodshed. And you got black people boycotting on behalf of damn Palestinians. And this is the type of energy that they come to our neighborhood with. All right.
Hey, Afro, um, as a military veteran that served in Iraq, let me tell you, they're nothing to worry about. Okay, on
Oh,
their
I
best
know.
day,
I
with
know.
the best AK-47s and all that, y'all are nothing to worry about. Matter of fact, we hope y'all do get violent because that's going to speed up the deportation process even more. Right after we get done putting our foot in y'all ass. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so all these threats y'all trying to make, that don't mean nothing. Okay, plenty of black Americans here. We're retired military veterans, special forces, Delta forces, black ops, and all that good stuff. Y'all are not coming with nothing we ain't seen before. Your little 4-inch butter knives are not going to do nothing. Your little sticks and brooms are not going to do nothing. We are not worried about you. Okay, the only bloodshed is going to be when your head hit the pavement. That's the only bloodshed there's going to be. So coming to threaten us is not going to do nothing, buddy. This is not that Martin Luther King generation where we trying to hold hands with you. We don't give a fuck about you. You step out of line, we got something for you, sir. So go tell all your boys that got that towel on their head that ride them damn camels and shit. Whenever they ready to get violent, feel free.
Mm-hmm.
We all with it.
I sure am. Straight
We
Notice,
up in
all with
South
that,
Central
sir.
LA,
we're not
straight
out here
gangster. Because I'm
promoting or
female don't
condoning
mean
any
shit.
violence.
I'm ready for
Yeah,
him.
We're not
yeah. I
out
mean,
here promoting or
You got a
condoning any
point.
violence, but
We ain't
I'm
condoning
just be
violence at
honest.
all.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. They stay behind a bulletproof glass for a reason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That
They don't
part.
want that
I just
smoke.
wanted to put that in there because
That part.
they talk real tough, but reality is they never got any W's at home or over here. So
Hmm.
we're not worried about your violence, sir.
Now,
You
do
have
you
a
see
good day.
that? Now, the thing is that the conversation isn't even about Saudi Arabia or Arab country. The
No, he
conversation
brought his
isn't even
negative
about
ass
that.
up over here
He
talking about
came
it's gonna
up
be
and
bloodshed.
lied so he can have entry into the conversation. All right, because he feels like this is going to have a ripple effect on him, and it will, and it should. All right, it actually shouldn't just have a ripple effect. We should actively be boycotting them as well too. Now,
Yes.
that's not what the conversation is about, but the energy needs to be dispersed among them as well.
Man, I hope you save this so I can share it
Boycott
on my
all of them.
page.
Oh yeah.
Shoot. Boycott all
Let's
of
get
them.
to let's get to six. We'll get to six triple X.
No, it's just six, brother.
Six, okay.
No, but how you doing, brother? Afro Elite, salute to you. Yeah, Afro Elite, salute to you, brother. Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. Um, I hopped up here because when I'm glad BX and ZZ they got on top of that ASAP because the Nigerian lawyer when she first came in, when she first brought up the Stokely Carmichaels and stuff, that right there just spelled disingenuous. Because and that's what they always like to do. They like to bring up the Stokely Carmichaels. They like to bring up the Hazel Scotts. They like to bring up Marcus Garvey. Hell, they even like to say Malcolm X. And he's FBA, even though his mother is, not Black American, but his father is. So basically, he's FBA.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, they talk like Trinidad sent Stokely Carmichael for our civil rights. They talk like Jamaica sent Marcus Garvey to help in our civil rights. No, your countries have nothing to do with our civil rights. Nothing at all. I don't care where they came from. This shit happened in America.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all like to talk about Marcus Garvey so much, but Marcus Garvey died when he went back home because y'all didn't help him. Y'all didn't step up. He had to come to America to get something happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's another thing. This guy, this Arab dude, man. I have absolutely no words, man, because this is ignorant, man. I mean, this is just straight ignorant, man. I mean, furthermore, just during this whole thing, FBAs haven't mentioned anything about violence. We haven't talked about being violent. It's nothing about being violent. It's all about delineating and have our own and backing our own. And it's such a problem to them because it's all fear. They fear. They fear what's going to happen. They fear what we're going to do. I mean, they fear what's going to happen without us, without our help,
Mm-hmm.
without our hands, without our civil rights, without our birthright citizenship. They're in complete fear. And you got a right to be because we try to tell you. We tried to tell you for decades. We tried to tell you how this system works. We tried to tell you how these white folks are. We tried to tell you, but yet they came here thinking they know more than us. You can't know more than that's just like me going to Nigeria saying I know more than Nigerians. That's stupid. But I land my plan on that though, man. And I appreciate BX, ZZ. I appreciate you, Afro Elite. I appreciate y'all getting on top of that right now because, like I said, they like to use the Stokely Carmichaels. They like to use the Marcus Garveys and all that to try to.
Notice, let me hop on that real quick before we move on to the next speaker. Notice she came up there, and I'm benching Kai Cenat. I think his I know he's Haitian. I know he's fully Caribbean. He's Haitian and something else, if I'm not mistaken. but he really promotes his Haitian heritage. But I think he might be of another Caribbean lineage, right? He's Haitian and Trinidad.
I'm
Okay,
about
he's
to say
Haitian and
Trinity. Yeah, I
Trinidadian.
thought it was Trinity.
Okay, okay, but I know he keeps promoting his Haitian lineage, but he's Haitian and Trinidad, right? So he's not African. Okay, his people are not from Africa. All right, but notice how the African woman who's Nigerian, she came up and started running interference for Kai Cenat.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Notice she came up and started running interference. She's advocating for, well, what about Stokely Carmichael? Well, Stokely Carmichael's from Trinidad. All of the people you're bringing up, Stokely Carmichael from Trinidad. You want to bring up Marcus Garvey, who's from Jamaica. You want to bring up all of these people who are not even from Africa. So you have Africans who are trying to run interference for the Caribbean because they see themselves as immigrants together. That's the thing. So when we said something about Kai Cenat, she came up there and be like, well, maybe he just doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know. Running interference because they view each other as immigrants, fellow immigrants. They're fellow immigrants, and they have more of a kinship among each other off the basis of being immigrants than they do with us.
And and you absolutely correct. And like I said, when she started off with that, I immediately everything else after that was omitted. Like no, you ain't gonna get me. I know you already. I got you by the tail already. Pretty much. When I say I got you by the tail already, yeah, that's a rat in the community.
Appreciate you, Six.
But
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys, and I thank y'all, man, and y'all keep up the good work, man. Y'all keep up the good work. I appreciate you guys. Much love to like I said, much love to the panel, much love to everybody. FBA for life, baby.
That's your FB. Yes, absolutely, all the way, forever. Let's get to Britt.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brittany from Atlanta, Foundational Black American. So, what I want to say is, in regards to like unity, for me, I feel like it's a little too late for that. It's kind of I think the disrespect. I noticed it a long time ago, and I was wondering when everybody else was gonna catch on to it. But even after we called them out on it, the further disrespect that came after that was kind of like, oh, okay, don't even worry about it. I won't deal with you no more, just like I don't deal with Target, Starbucks, or any other rest of them. You will never get $1 from me. I would never go to an African braid shop again in my life. Neither will my daughter. It's up. I'm not going back off of it, and that's just the end of that. Now, I do want us to kind of focus more on our people because I'm kind of not that I'm tired of these conversations, but in a sense I am, because it will pull out some negative aspects within ourselves, because as I know for me and what I'm noticing is a lot of us just hate ignorance. Just people who are they just fail. Even when you give them the facts, you can present them with the documents and you can show it to them, put it in their face, and they still want to play dumb. They just don't want to. They don't want to know the truth. They don't care because they do not care about us. They never have. They never will. Whenever they had their little flag days or any events, they never invited a Black American. Never. But we were always and have always been inclusive with all of our things in regards to them. And so I know, and I've noticed, like, even with me, I've been very angry lately with it all because I don't like the disrespect. I myself feel like I played myself because I held them at such a high pedestal. So now I'm realizing, like, dang, they're not, to me, they're not even really that as smart as I thought they were. They can't be. They just can't be, because the ignorance that I've just been experiencing is just like, so that I was kind of heartbroken by it, to be honest, by the level of disrespect that came from that direction. So I think I've been going through my own little grieving process of just going off in a sense. But at the same time, I think that it's a way that we can combat it, because now I'm realizing that it's a battle of the minds, because they know the truth. But it's all about, it doesn't go towards it don't fit their narrative and what benefits them. It's all about what benefits them. So it's like, okay, I'm not even finna keep going back and forth with you, raising my blood pressure or getting frustrated. I understand that it's a battle of the minds now.
Mm.
So it's like I'm gonna try my best to be patient with them. If I decide to have a conversation with them and use the same passive aggressive tactics that they use, because you're not gonna come on here and act like I want to get ratchet and upset and angry with you so you can paint me as the villain, because they're already trying to make our movement of identifying our ancestors and preserving our culture as something negative. That right there in itself should let you know that they are hateful, they're evil, and they're wicked, because they don't want the best for us at all. So
Let me and first off, thank you for that. All right. A lot of people don't understand how incredibly difficult having discipline is and having patience is, but it's very much so required. Just as much as you need high energy and you need that raw and you need that fire, you also need that discipline as well too. Without that, the movement will be derailed, and it has happened throughout many times in history. All right, and that takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of people who are going to disagree and they're going to say, well, why don't you just go off? Why don't you just go off? It takes a number of people who are willing to not only be composed, but stay composed under pressure, not fold or lash out under pressure. The thing is that I don't want anybody to be illogical. I don't want anybody to be irrational. I don't want anybody to be hateful. We're not here to spread hate, unlike what they're doing, like the immigrant community, and unlike what they're trying to paint us as. So this is why it's important that we have these civil, mature conversations so we can convey our issue and illustrate that without without people being able to twist it and make it seem like this is hateful. Because if somebody took this whole live, okay, which will be on For the Culture on YouTube, so you guys do got to go For the Culture on YouTube and subscribe so you guys can see it. But if somebody took this whole live, nobody can say that we're hateful, xenophobic, we're irrational or anything. Nobody can do that, because and I want to thank all of you all who've been speaking, all right, because we have had and expressed the discipline it takes, even though it's hard and even though we don't want to, we've expressed enough resolve and discipline and self-control to have the conversation, even though a lot of them don't even deserve the conversation. Even though a lot of them, let's be honest, don't deserve the conversation, but we're having it anyway, because this is what it takes to take the next step forward. So thank you. And thank everybody. Thank you, the BX. Thank you, ZZ. Thank you, all of the people who've come up here and have composed yourself and represented your ethnicity well. Thank you. And all the people who are going to be listening on YouTube. Shout out to you guys. All right. Let's get to, because we've been on here for a couple hours now, so let's get to David.
Moment, are you allowing anybody up on the panel? Melissa says that she came from your YouTube channel to TikTok. And Melissa is a person, FBA woman who migrated from Mississippi to upstate New York. And she's very valuable to us FBA at this time. You brought up.
Yeah, I'll bring her up, but that'll be it. After that, that'll be it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. David, you got it.
Hey, what up? What up, Afro?
How you
What
doing?
up, BX? What up, ZZ? What up, everybody? So I've been down there listening, right? And the lawyer lady, right? She responded in the comments, right? She said, I asked her, what school did you go to? She said, Spelman, right? And some other school. I said, I bet you didn't check the Nigerian box. I bet you checked that black box to get in that school. No response. See, How they getting into these schools? They have basically infiltrated us almost at every level, from school, frats, sororities, Hollywood, music, politics. Okay, you look at Obama. Obama got to where he got to looking like us. You get to Kamala. Kamala got to where she got to looking like us. So all of these things they go through us. And what they have done is sided with white supremacists, out of their playbook, and to get them to that level that fast. I mean, this has happened in like basically 20 years. They went from having a president of their lineage and another vice president within 20 years. That's impossible. So they helping them along the way, right? And what y'all was saying about Rich made his money peddling that shea butter. Okay, so that's where he got to. Him and his mom peddling shea butter on the streets of New York, and they got to where they got to. So black women wrote a 2020 Medium article about the mistreatment they was experiencing in Essence magazine. And I think we should go and read that because they sounded the alarms in 2020 on what he was doing. He was bringing in people from diaspora, putting them over them, all kind of just harassment. Just it was terrible treatment. And his interview that he did on a Breakfast Club, he was just gaslighting because, like I say, they sounded this off in 2020. Okay, so what he's planning on doing is basically removing us. That's basically what it did because he already did it in the Essence magazine, and he forced some black women to quit. Okay, so that's basically what I want to do. I think that one thing I do study is I study the words, right? I study words just for a living. I'm always be a student of words. So what they have done is use these words to get to where they got to. The same thing white supremacy that they use. They start changing words. It went from black to minority, if you notice that. Then they use the people POC, okay? And now they got the African American. Under all them terms is really don't really apply to us. You know what I mean? Except the African American, but minority, everybody goes up under that banner, okay, to get benefits that we have worked for. POC, people of color, everybody goes up under that banner to get benefits. So we just gotta, watch the language they are using because if they're gonna achieve something, it's going to be through that language. And we have to background check everyone because while we've been struggling and fighting, they've been undermining us on every level. You know what I mean? And the Harvard, how they get into these, how is they coming from overseas getting into these Ivy Leagues? First of all, I know for a fact it's going to be a problem on the test with for us English, because English, from what I understand, is one of the hardest languages to learn. But yet they have got into certain schools all over the country in positions. You know, I have
Mm.
an so it's just answer. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry, y'all. It's been exposed that to meet the quota, they'll use an African instead of a Black American. And I believe, David, I put that post on my page. okay. Yeah, yeah. So they'll use that, and but it's like what the lady said. She's a lawyer. It's not just. I think it's not just the Ivy League. It's just all schools. Period. Because you go into these classrooms and they teachers, right? You can't for the students, for us. You can't even understand what they saying. It's a language barrier, and you like, how did they even get this job? You see what I'm saying? So it hurts us again. So that's all I wanted to say, man. I appreciate y'all. But we have to background check everybody because they completely have infiltrated us all the way from top to bottom, except our struggle. They infiltrated everything except the struggle. So
Yeah.
appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. Thank you, David.
Yep.
Let's get to Black American Speaks.
Thank you for letting me up. I just wanted to make a comment about the Nigerian lawyer because I am familiar with her. So when she was speaking, I wasn't sure because her name is common, like for a Nigerian name, And she was saying she was in California, but when BX made the statement about what Caribbean people are doing when it comes to real estate, she's like, I don't know, I'm here in California. But later on, she said something about the program in New York. So that is the person. I'm familiar with her. And so the reason why I wanted to make some comments is because she does do more than law. She works in the real estate space. So what BX is telling her about, the situation with the real estate, she's quite aware. I don't know why it's as though, like, I don't know, like it's something that she's not informed of. One of the reasons why I wanted to make comments is because I've actually never heard her speak before, and I didn't know what her thoughts were in regards to the situation, because we are in the same space, which is the real estate development space, and that is 1% Black, okay? 1%. And so she is in rooms speaking for us. When you guys were bringing up and you were saying the statements about, or even when she was talking about, things that are particular to our community, this person is sitting at the table speaking for us.
You see what I'm saying?
And I'm trying to, like, it kind of upsets me right now because I've heard her opinions on a lot of things. Now I see, like, myself in the industry, we've had conversations even regards she throws events about some events that she throws about how we don't want to sit around and talk. We want to actually do actionable things. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of what she came up here and she was saying, like, we need to sit around and talk. And my thing is, like, I feel like it upsets me because I myself have always been on the Black thing, the black. And we're all trying to work together. We're pushing things everyone's way because they're Black. But these people are not, they have a very, in my opinion, an immigrant first mentality. It's not about being Black. It's immigrant first. And so it's kind of like, I don't like that there are people that are speaking for us in rooms that don't even understand, like, our history or our struggle or what it is that is most important to, us as people. But yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about that. Like, because once I saw that, I was just kind of like, okay, now I know how you feel about things. And she does put on events that are for what do you call it? The minority community. There's no language specific to Black. And so, like, that's kind of like my thing, earlier when y'all were talking about the whole thing about she does, like, you don't identify yourself as it's like you do it for the benefit, not actually like you identifying with our community, helping specifically for things that we need. And particularly in New York City, they have certain set-asides that they've done, like when it comes to the city, for minorities. And you know what I'm saying? Again, these are all specifics that are tied to, like, minorities. And, the Black American community is being pushed out in New York City. So, I mean,
like grants, ma'am, I'm sorry to cut you off. Are there grants attached to what she does when she speaks about the Black community?
she has gotten money herself, right? Because she throws events. She gets what do you call it? Fundraising, not fundraising, not scholarship. Y'all help me out. It's not coming to me quickly.
Yeah, fundraising.
Sponsorships tied to
It's
an
fraud.
agenda.
It's fraud. It's absolutely fraud. It's illegal what she's doing. You
Crowdfunding?
can't. Yeah.
Is it
No, sponsorships.
crowdfunding?
So it's tied to specific programs, right? So if you have the program that are set aside and you have to put a certain amount that is specifically for, like how I can't speak, like, give you like a specific company, but like if Amazon says they want to set out a certain money aside for Black businesses, blah, 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 they'll set that certain specific out for them. So you'll receive those sponsorship dollars, right? And it's tied to.
Is it vendor sponsorship?
Yes. Vendor sponsorships, just sponsorships related to, how they have a certain set aside of money that they're going to put certain causes, right? And it gets laid out that way.
Like DEI.
Yes. Thank you. I was trying to remember everything that I wanted to bring up, but yes, DEI, that's what it is. DEI.
And this is what we've been saying about all that stuff. This is exactly what we've been saying about that DEI, affirmative action, all of that stuff that everybody gets to be lumped in for, everybody gets to qualify for, all of this um, um, immigrant set asides and all of these ambiguous things that everybody and their mama gets to qualify for. So there's
Yep.
certain benefits that should be going to our lineage, but the thing is that they come here and they reach past us and they take the resources. All
And they
right.
also speak for us. So like I just like what I was saying about the business is 1% black. Somebody asked in the comments, do I know her personally? No, I do not. I'm in the industry. We all know each other. So I don't personally know her. Um the we're talking about an industry that is 1% black. Okay. So it's not that many people. So when they have situations where they're talking about certain things, they bring certain people to the table. So yes, she's speaking specifically for us in rooms that you guys may never be invited to because you're not in that industry. You know what I'm saying? But it affects all of us.
Yeah, and it's not just DEI. These things was going on before DEI was even established. They just got set asides that people go
Yeah.
around, like, you know what I mean?
Yep. This is what we're saying, which is why delineation is
Yes.
so important. All right. Let's get to Melissa.
Hi. As I was typing in the chat, I will kind of piggyback on to what she was saying. I had something else in mind, but I'm in New York, and that's what I was telling everyone. What they do is, as soon as they get here, they will create an NGO, a nonprofit organization. Every attorney that I know that comes here, that whether they're Nigerian, Jamaican, uh, whatever, they all create an NGO. And the first thing they do in any community is when they have these, say for instance, they have these take guns out of the community, or they have kids going back to school, they will apply to those community things through urban development and through community grants, and they will get those grants. And what I try to tell all of our people when I'm going to these, I tell everyone, go to your city council meeting, get to know your city councilman, get to know the councilman that represents your ward, because every ward gets a certain amount of funds through the city council. Like I'm in Fifth Ward in Cornhill. I know who my city councilman is. I write a grant to him. Okay, they got like $800,000. I know how much money they got because I went to the city council meeting, and they gave our community 800,000. Okay, I went there. I wrote a grant to him as I wanted, what I wanted, and he cut me a check for $5,000. So you have to get into these spaces because, like she said, they use it for people of color. That means anyone who they consider under our minority branch. They would say, okay, well, we gave it to a minority. We gave it to a person of color. No, you did not. You didn't give it to a black community. You gave it to a Somalian. You gave it to a Sudanese. You gave it to a Jamaican. You gave it to anyone or Asian or Indian. But it didn't come into the black community. But Cornhill used to be a predominantly black community. And that's why I tell people, you're going to have to get into these spaces. Don't be afraid to go to your Department of Commerce, you know, because this is where you learn. Department of Commerce will advertise for your business. And another thing I wanted to say about the lawyer, I was in the chat room when I was telling him. I said the lawyers on the African continent don't make more than our fast food workers. And the guy said, "What's your point?" My point is that's why they come here and they tether in, because they want to take all of our money, all of our dollars. And that's why Trump now is starting to say, okay, if you're coming here from the diaspora and you're going to send our money out of the U.S., we're going to tax you. We're going to tax you. And they're like, oh, no, you shouldn't do that because we send our money back there to help our family. Okay, but you're taking it out of the black community. So that's why I'm happy that we need to keep our money in our community. And I don't care if we do have a problem with our sisters and our brothers, and they say, well, they're overcharging. I don't care. You would drive way across town to give it to someone who's going to disrespect you. I don't care if they overcharge. Keep your money in your community. Build your community up. And another thing you need to start doing, after I finish this, I'm going to land my plane. Watch your old people. Your aunties who have these houses, who get sick, don't pay their taxes, they're waiting on that woman to die, and they're going to take her property, put it on the auction block, and sell it for $5,000. That's a house and 4-5 acres. Check on your old people when they're not paying their taxes, when they're not, and they're waiting on. That's who has the property right now. Our elderly people have these houses, have property, but everyone has passed away. Everyone has moved off, and they're not caring about. These houses will go up on the auction block. Check on your old people. Pay their taxes. After you paid it for 3 years, when that person passed away, you automatically get it, and you keep on going. And that's all I have to say. Thank you all for listening.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's very true. It's very good information. So thank you for that. You know, we've had a pretty good live so far. We've had a pretty good live, and we've discussed a lot. And the thing is from what I was saying from the beginning, economically, socially, and politically, all right? These are things that they are supposed to be in lockstep with us on, but they're not. They're not in lockstep with us on. As a matter of fact, as the one speaker, Black American, said, and this is something that I've said on YouTube as well too, they come in and they see themselves as immigrant first. So the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to start working for was in the best interest of their ethnic group, whether that's a Nigerian, whether that's Jamaican, whether that's Haitian, whether that's from a Ghanaian, or whatever the case is. Then secondly, their allegiance is to other immigrants. All right. So the thing is that they put us at the bottom of the priority list, and we have been putting them at the top of the priority list. All right. And this is why we're having this issue. All right. Some people say they'll even put being a quote unquote person of color before being a black, or whatever the case is, in a lot of cases as well too. And this is why we are realizing that we're not getting anywhere, and we're not succeeding. We keep having more and more black immigrants come over here. So logically speaking, the community should be more and more empowered, and we're seeing the opposite happen. All right. The more of them come over here, the more problems that we're starting to recognize, the more problems that we're starting to see. So it's been way too long for us to have reached the point where we're saying some action needs to be done to address this problem. People are saying, what do you expect out of the boycott? First off, the main thing is that economically, this is going to be a benefit. Economically is going to be a benefit for us. I'm not a champion of DEI. I'm not. I want y'all to understand that. I'm not a champion. I think that DEI is actually harmful. All right, because it does allow other people to scapegoat us and to use the black plight as a ramp. All right, so they can reach past us. I'm not a fan of DEI. I want them to get rid of that. But the thing is that as far as the boycott of Target, I'm all for that. Okay, Target is not black owned. Target does not help black people. Target also has a bunch of anti-black controversies as well too. So if black people don't want to spend their money at Target, I'm 100% for that. All right, that doesn't mean I'm a champion of DEI, but if y'all don't want to spend y'all money at Target, I can't do nothing but second that. I don't like Al Sharpton's approach with going to Costco. I don't like that though, but I will say that that energy needs to be taken and be dispersed back into the community. So the boycotts in general will be helpful if it's done correctly. Okay, if the boycott is done correctly and the energy doesn't, or the money doesn't get taken from one white-owned business and then given to another white-owned business, if it gets taken from the white-owned business and then put back into the community, that's going to be beneficial no matter who it's from. Okay, and no matter who we're boycotting. All right, and then so socially, it's going to be a very big benefit, which is going to aid us when it comes to our economic stance. all right, which is going to help us in our economic footing as far as advocacy and politicians and campaigns and things like that. So it's going to have a ripple effect as far as our policy is concerned as well too. Another thing is also going to have, and I think this is going to be the primary thing that we notice, is that is going to have a effect on the social interactions that we have with FBA in the diaspora. As far as the diaspora, like Kai Sanat and Burna Boy and Busta Rhymes and all of these people coming over here acting like they can do what they want to do because they don't know Black history, and they can do what they want to do, that stuff is going to stop. Because the thing is that that doesn't happen to everybody else, because you all culturally teach your community that everybody is to be taken serious but us. And now it's time for us to show you that we are to be taken no less serious than you take everybody else. So this boycott is going to be beneficial on all three of those categories and demographics. But I'm going to let Zizi go ahead and give our closing thoughts, and then we'll wrap things up. EX can close us out.
Yes. Closing thoughts. This was a good one. I think this was a good show. Shout out to all the people on the panel and in the chat who was helping to expose that damn lawyer, because I knew she was one of them ones, man. I knew she had to be one of these people that was either a troll, a tether, or a cosplayer who was here to undermine Black Americans. It's just she gave that. Okay, we're going to peep it every time. Every time we're gonna call it out. So yeah, y'all be very careful coming into our spaces. You really shouldn't be, to be honest. If you really have a question about our spaces, if you really want to come to some sort of resolution, get with your people. Okay? Get with your people. Y'all put your brains together and make some shake, because the problem is not on our end. The problem is on your end. Okay? Clearly. All right. Even those of you who come in here and act like the problem is not on your end, it's some mutual thing. You clearly are the problem. It's very clear. So yeah, I need for y'all to get with those like minds and figure something out. Figure out a way for you to correct your own group, correct your own lineage. Okay, because coming over to foundational Black American spaces and telling us what we need to do or what you think is best for us ain't helping a damn thing. All right. Delineation is a key. B1. Shout out to the chat for the gifts. I appreciate it. Yeah. See y'all on the next one.
All right, yeah, y'all tap the screen a lot before we leave. Yeah, I'll put this up. Somebody's in the chat room asking when is this going to come up. I just uploaded one of the things tomorrow for today. So there was already something on for the culture, I think premiering right now, if I'm not mistaken. But this will be up tomorrow. All right. Y'all tap the screen. The channel is For the Culture on YouTube. Just type in For the Culture. You'll see this live. You'll see all of the lives we do, because we do a lot of lives, and we make sure we put that up so people can listen to the playback. That is very informative. It's a lot of receipts, a lot of good information. Me and Zizi, we also have a podcast that we do. So we'll either go to Atlanta, DC, Chicago, and then we'll actually have a conversation, just us two, about these subjects. Then we go live and we discuss multiple different subjects as well too. So it's a very loaded channel with a lot of good things. All right, depending on what you like to listen to or whatever, you can find it there for the most part, because it's so much stuff on that channel. All right.
Hey, Afro, I just want to say this too, bro. Like, I know people get upset, but we can't let them have our energy, man. Because my blood pressure went to fatal, when I found out about the Harvard thing. But we can't let them, get us here. And when it comes down to it, we ain't gonna even have to lift a finger, and everything gonna get done. So don't let them control your emotions. I understand it's frustrating. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, indeed. Yes, true. That's very true. All right.
I be getting frustrated. I ain't gonna lie. I be ready to lean on some of that. I be ready to go on some of them. But it's all right. We here to be constructive. It's fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I gotta ask you, when are you coming back live on TikTok?
BX, there's a lot going on for me right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm gonna try, and that's why I tried to do it today, because I ain't been doing it for the last couple of days. So I made sure I made some time for today. But I can say I can arrange something Thursday around the afternoonish time.
Okay, no problem, no rush. I just have to ask you because you do have a base here, but I get it. It's frustrating, and this is more intimate to me, in my opinion, than YouTube because the content creator isn't like in here actually answering the questions, talking to them on YouTube, unless they have a panel, which I also would like to know if you would host one on your live, um, specifically with Sage, and maybe if you have, well, you're a reparationist from Chicago, and maybe if we could find another reparationist from Cali, and we can just talk about what's going on, where do we see the sabotage, things like that. Do
Hmm.
you think it's possible? Something like that,
Yeah, I
Afro.
can. Yeah, I can definitely
Okay.
set that up.
Thank you, because I really would like to tap in with Sage and them and find out what should be the focus for the 2026 elections, where we have to vote for our mayor. This is like very important after being declared a sanctuary state and being so overrun with the immigrants. But I'll land there and we could talk behind the scenes. So I did see a comment that caught my attention that said that I'm too Southern for this. I don't know if that was really a Southern FBA person or an immigrant born in the South, because immigrants, to my Southern cousins and brothers and sisters, immigrants are born there. Immigrants are buying land there. For people who are in here and has not heard me for the past couple of days, I found out that Africans are buying historical churches in Philly. So this is deeper than the African hair braiding shops. And they're not buying these things to restore them to keep them beneficial for foundational Black Americans. They are actually flipping them to Airbnbs. And it's a young lady who I love and respect. And she came up on the panel and she informed us. And she's been actively going to town hall to see what's going on with that. So everybody, please check your states. See what the Africans are buying up. There's a bigger agenda there. They want the land just like we do. They want the experiences that we have. They know the South is our home too. So they may have been quiet there. New York has been boastful without Tether problems, but they're in the South being manipulative, and I need us to get a handle on it. So as we go forward, Afro, I just want to leave you with this, and I'll land. I would like for us to tell, as we're going for reparations, that we don't want them to have any say over us. They had all these years and they failed miserably. They basically monopolized the government to lock us out of things. And so that's why there's a disparity in some places, but it's mathematically impossible for them to do or have the history that we have or the accomplishments that we have on this land.
Hmm.
I'll land there. Yeah.
Hmm. That's very true. That's very true. Um, which is why when you ask them what they're doing, because they claim that they're doing so well, when you ask them what they're doing, they say, well, I work in IT. Okay, you might work at Best Buy in the tech support section, but no, you're not doing anything better than everybody else. Most of the bragging is very embellished. When you actually look at the real number, somebody came up and started looking at and giving the real statistics. Most of them, there, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of them who are nurses and CNAs, but let's be honest, they ain't coming over here um, setting no paths that ain't been walked before them. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. And then the ones who are walking the path ain't really doing as good of a job. But that's another story. That's another story, because let's be honest, most of the issues that you're hearing about black doctors, that don't they ain't FBA doctors or nurses. All of
Mm.
these nurses is mean. These nurses is doing a bad job. These nurses, they ain't FBA nurses. They ain't FBA doctors. But that's another story, though. We can't go there if we want to.
I think that she came up to ask us what's the end goal, because if she really is hosting events and getting grants and funding for vendorship and all these other things, then she want to use that to cater it for herself because she knows FBA is still here. You understand what I'm saying?
And,
Yeah.
and the thing is that as FBA in advocating for your lineage, there is no end goal of advocating for your lineage. There shouldn't be.
Right.
All right. When you're asking, well, what is the end goal? They're making it seem like this is some type of it's a disingenuous question. You're framing the thing very disingenuously. Okay. All right, because this is a lineage and we're advocating for the lineage. All right, there should be no end goal. All right. So the whole what is the end goal to this? Well, why do you think that we're even having this conversation? And they keep asking these very disingenuous questions because they want us to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, they want us to stop. Every single last person who's come up to me are like, well, I mean, there is disrespect, but I don't necessarily agree with the boycott. Well, of course you don't. I'm sure you don't agree with the boycott. They want us to stop. And the thing is that they would never have this conversation unless we force the issue. And the fact that we've been forcing the issue is the only reason that they're here at all, period. So now we've gotten to the point where we understand we're leading the conversation as we should be. And we just maintain where we're doing at our pace and keep on code, keep on message, and say, well, the boycott is what's necessary. So the boycott is where we're at, and the boycott is going to continue because it's a necessity at this point. All right. When people bring up, well, what about Lululemon? I'm seeing that a lot. What about Lululemon and what about Target? What about all of these things? You are focusing on somebody else's business. Focus on what you got going on. Okay? Because first off, it's already boycotts going on Target right now as we speak. Target is feeling it right now. They ain't really been supported like that all year long. So Target is feeling it. But the issue is that you bring up Target, Lululemon, all these other things to deflect from what you've done and deflect from your accountability. Every time we have a conversation about them taking accountability, it becomes a thing where it's a deflection of, well, what about something else and what about something else? No, what about you? And this is a conversation between me and you. Don't bring up Lululemon. Don't bring up Target. Don't bring up the quote unquote. Don't even bring up white people right now, because this is a conversation between you, me and you. That's why. So anytime they bring them up, say, well, you know what? We'll get on them. We'll handle them accordingly. But right now we're handling you accordingly. So from now on, anytime they try to distract from that or derail from that, say, we'll get to them how we choose, but right now we're getting to you. Don't worry about nobody else. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for all of the gifts, all of the likes, all of the patience that it takes. Okay, everybody, I appreciate you guys so very much. Make sure that you guys subscribe to both of us on our own individual YouTube channels, which is in our bios. The link is in our bios, as well as also our social media. Okay, so that's Twitter, that's Instagram. Y'all can follow on TikTok right now. So that's all of that stuff. But YouTube, all of that's in the link in the bio. All right. Go to For the Culture on YouTube and you can make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe so you can make sure that you listen to the playback. Make sure that you guys don't miss out on any upcoming things, because we got some good upcoming things for that channel as well too. So make sure you guys don't miss out on that as well. Go to For the Culture on YouTube. All right. And then follow, so that way next time we have these conversations, you don't miss out. All right. And with that being said, peace. You all have a good rest of your evening. Be one to every single last one of y'all.
Peace. Be one.
B1 ZZ, B1 Afro, B1 Foundational Black Americans. Love, light, and reparations. Great live, Afro.